Welcome to the Cardboard Cave Podcast, the #1 show in Puerto Rico about trading card games. Thanks for Lotr Sleeves for sponsoring our show. Use our affiliate link or code CardboardCave for 5% off your order and spice up your commander. Don't forget to follow us on our social media or listen to us in all major audio platforms. Thanks for being part of our community, and please like, share, and comment below. Plus enjoy the live show.
Hey, do you like Magic the Gathering? Myself as well loves Magic the Gathering. Well, I have the podcast for you. How about you join us at Cardboard Cave MTG Podcast? We are in all social media and audio platforms that you can enjoy. You can join us as well when we go live every Wednesday at 9. Like that, you can join us, comment below, and we can go ahead and have that conversation together. Plus, after that, we have Commander games and arena content coming your way. So if you love Magic the Gathering as well as we do, just go ahead, look us up as Cardboard Cave Podcast.
Hey, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Cardboard Cave Podcast, the best Magic the Gathering podcast in Puerto Rico. Today we got some really spicy stuff to talk about, as usual. To be honest, we're always making some spicy content for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and start presenting our other hosts. You already know me. I'm Chris, and we got the top-notch director, the Oscar-winning, amazing person, director, and everything, and Magic player, best of all, Alejandro Rengo.
I am definitely the worst Magic player ever. Yes. Hey, how you doing? You're good?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long week, and it's only halfway through. So let's we just about to get started. Up next, the master of the cube, the master of the dark arts, the man who is willing to sacrifice it all to play some good ass Magic. We got JP.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
What's up, my dude? It's good seeing you guys, and I don't know. What do you guys think we should kick this off with? There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. We've got a bunch of new spicy cardboard spoiled, and as always, there's fun stuff going on at Wizards of the Coast.
So I feel maybe let's just start off with addressing the fact that Wizards did not address anything about the Pinkertons. They just decided to brush it under the rug. And, people will forget.
Yep, people will forget.
Actually brings up a really good point. It's like, again, like we mentioned, like during the live stream, they did not say like a word about anything, and they simply put out the spoiler of the Karn without like the text list, like part at the bottom with the question mark. Oh, what does the card do? Meanwhile, everybody already knew what the card does almost 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane. They completely ignored it, and I think that this really calls back to one of the emails that the whistleblowers sent out over at Wizards of the Coast, saying that to a lot of the higher ups in like the Wotc, what's it called? Like a lot of the higher ups would really just see the community in itself as an obstacle to their money, for starters, and second, that they were just basically going to keep doing things or acting as if like nothing happened. They would to just hope that the community just forgets that these terrible things that they're doing ever happened. And this is something that came well before this whole thing with the Pinkertons. So it's tracked pretty well so far. Like, the stuff with the OGL hasn't even come up again because they're probably cooking up a plan in the background. Like, they're just hoping everybody forgets. And once everybody forgets, they're going to try this crap again. They're going to try to reprint reserve list stuff again. They're going to send armed goons after your cardboard because some supplier made a mistake.
Yep.
Oh, man. I don't know. Anything you guys want to say about that?
I think it's insane. I mean, but it was obvious they weren't going to address it. I think they did like like a PR bullshit thing where they were like, we did what was necessary, but the guy cooperated and we handled it very swiftly. But they just tried to like basically, like you said,
Yeah, just brush it off.
put it under the rug. Yeah, brush it off and continue with the spoilers. The thing that they did do very differently was that they spoiled everything in Aftermath in like a 1 day. I don't think they like spread it out like for weeks on end. They just did like the 1 day and they just, of course, it's a small set. I don't know if it was by design that we're just going to spoil it in 1 day, but I think they probably realized we can't just stretch this out. We're going to ignore it, but we can't just, you know, make it seem like it never even happened in the first place. So let's just like spoil it all 1 day and just move on. And, it's interesting because it's a very underwhelming set. It's very underwhelming. Mechanic wise, it's just a bunch of the stuff we already saw. The only interesting part is the D-Spark Placewalker, which I think I mentioned this even before the stuff got leaked. That I was guessing that the idea was going to be that we're probably going to like have Placewalkers be creatures again, at least for the short term, and then have another giant event of making them all back together. But yeah, the cards aren't even that strong. But the problem is that if no one buys this set, then all the cards will spike up.
Yeah. A lot of the things about this set is that it's very experimental, just the same way as Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt was. And this is very reminiscent to that, considering it's a smaller set. Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt were two smaller sets that would like make one block, basically, and they would complement each other in a way. This is technically a complementary to All Will Be One, but the fact remains that it is a lot smaller than Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow. I do like the idea behind it, but it needs to be like performed better. I like the idea behind it because you could have the main set and then have like a lore set that supplements the mechanics of the current set. And as long as they try to do that, then it'll be fine.
I also feel like it's a really good opportunity to use it story wise and just kind of use like the new like Aftermath set to make like these little sets that complement, like not little sets, these little like more lore chunks that kind of complement the main story. That way there's like more context to what's going on in those cards, and then you can have more cards that are used to like the lore card, like how like there's like certain cards, like all the cards are magic lore, right? All the art, all the flavor text, everything, right? But then a lot of the cards are some that are like the story spotlight cards, and I feel like you can put more of those into like an Aftermath set as well, like
I think
that kind of style.
Didn't the Martian the Machine one had like the most story spotlight cards ever in a set? Like I'm almost certain it had like 50 or 60.
I'm actually not aware of that.
Yeah, I could have sworn because everything was so like important to what was happening in the final battle. And a lot of them just had story highlight. I remember story spotlight. It's like a bunch of them. I don't know if the Aftermath did the same thing because I haven't like actually paid attention to it, but I know that this one like had a lot of like lore centric cards, and of course this one had, because of course all the Placewalker
it's a huge event, like it's a huge like
exactly.
it's the great crossover, it's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so now that we are speaking about the happy things involving March of the Machine, let's go take a look at the set real quick. Where is it? We're gonna start presenting here real quick. Here we got the main page for the March of the Machine card gallery. So this one's all divided up in colors.
It's
so
only
just
50 cards, so we can go over it real quick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Copper, like, or at least I want to talk about a few cards in each color.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that Copper Coat Vanguard you were about to mention.
Yeah, Copper Coat Vanguard is pretty stupid.
It's really good. It's really good. I don't know who wants to go ahead and read that one first. You were about to mention it, so you can go ahead.
So Copper Coat Vanguard, it's 1 and a white. It's 2 mana for creature human soldier, and it is a 2/2. It is each other human creature you control. No, each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has Ward 1. So this is stupid. 2-mana Lord that protects in addition, and it's an uncommon. This is very, very stupid.
Yep.
This is funny considering ever since Modern Horizons 2 and all the printings of Solitude and Fury basically made the modern humans deck null. And basically, it's non-existent
Mhm.
because you have free removal for a million small creatures. This might actually revive that deck. If I mean, I might think so because you play this, and basically, Fury can't do anything.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think considering the fact that now a standard, we're going to be talking about that, but standard is going to be 3 years now. Stuff like Thalia, like, you could legit build like a good humans deck in standard now with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be
The
very
kind of
strong.
stuff that starts like taxing you for existing.
Oh yeah, this is just everything's just gonna be taxing you, like wards or just like everything costs 1 extra. It's gonna be pretty insane. Yeah.
All right, so next up, mentioning it mostly because it's rare, we got Deification. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a Planeswalker type. Planeswalkers you control of the chosen type have hexproof, as long as you control a creature. If damage was dealt to a Planeswalker you control of the chosen type, would result in losing any loyalty counters. Instead, all but one of those loyalty counters are removed.
You're gonna kill
Um,
something. It is
Mm-hmm.
not killed, and it only has 1 now.
Yep.
Correct.
It's pretty cool.
That-
Like if you have tribal, like a tribal Planeswalker deck or whatever, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
I think it's really good if you're thinking about, for example, effects kind of like Narset and Ashiok,
Mhm.
which is just kind of stacks the field, and you can just make sure that that Planeswalker is going to stay on there, like almost no matter what. Like you have to target it to destroy it, and actually you can't even target it. You'd have to wipe the board to get rid of the Planeswalker. That's pretty crazy.
Just gonna play that one and say Urza. That's it.
Disgusting.
No one's touching
Disgusting.
it.
All right, so we got Harness
Uh,
Snubhorn, which looks great for limited, I suppose.
The limited. How can you play limited with this set?
Oh right, you can't draft this freaking set. That's sad.
You can't draft this set, which is weird. It's so bizarre.
The other thing that bothers me about like the subhorn is basically the mana cost rather than like the rest of the effect. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
But
it's
at
fine.
four mana and then you have to like deal like combat damage. Like it just really depends on what kind
It's
of game
great
you're
for the
playing.
limited environment that this set does not have. Yes.
Correct. All right, so up next we got Metropolis Reformer, Flying Vigilance. It gives you hexproof. It is a 2/3 Angel Cleric for 2 colorless mana and a white. And whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. So it has pseudo lifelink. So you can put
Yeah.
lifelink on this, and you can gain twice the life.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's fun. Yeah, and
Oh.
it gives you hexproof, so in like Angel Tribal, it's kind of fun.
Up next, we got Spark Rupture. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So again, the theme of white having subpar card draw. Each planeswalker with 1 or more loyalty counters on it loses all abilities and is a creature with power toughness equal to the number of loyalty counters on it.
Yep.
I'm excited for like the story of like why the spark rupture happens,
Yeah.
but till then,
And who's affected by it? Because it doesn't seem like I don't think all the planeswalkers are going to
Not
be
all of
affected
them,
by
yeah.
it, are they?
Johnny still has his spark. I'm pretty sure Chandra still has her spark. Some of them are affected, not all of them.
I think that was kind of cool because if you have me thinking like if you had like a very planeswalker centric deck or like a control deck or whatever, either be EDH or standard, you put that, you play that, and it's like okay, you have a bunch of planeswalkers and no one has been able to get rid of, so I'm just gonna swing for lethal.
So it's an interesting way to kind of to kill them off, I guess, story wise, but I don't know.
I actually feel like that's a good way of putting it. Like some of them, like I'm pretty sure we'll see later. Obnixilis is stuck in Nuka-Pena, which is hilarious because he's like stuck in another plane again.
Again, he got stuck in Zendikar the first time, right?
Yeah.
Where is Obnixilis from? I thought he was from Capenna in the first place.
No, he's from an. I'm not sure if his plane is named, but before he became a planeswalker, he was a human that conquered his entire plane. Then he became a planeswalker and then started conquering different planes.
Interesting.
Okay.
He's a conqueror.
So lastly, we got Tazri Stalwart Survivor at 3 mana. It's a 3/3 legendary creature human warrior. Each creature you control has tap this creature to add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. Spend this mana only to activate an ability of a creature. Activate only if this creature has another activated ability. And then you can pay 5 mana and tap it to mill 5 cards and pull all creature cards with activated abilities that aren't mana abilities from among the milled cards into your hand. Wow, that's a mouthful, but you get to put all the mana creatures into your hand. That's great.
Yeah.
So
Well,
basically,
not mana, I'm sorry, abilities.
Yeah, mana creatures do work, but basically,
Mhm.
she cares about
No,
having
it
activated abilities.
specifically says put all creature cards with activated abilities that aren't mana abilities from among the milled cards. into your hand,
Yes,
specifically.
exactly. So you just make a deck that it's like activated ability tribal because it's 5 color, but it can't be like mana dorks. Although you could just put mana dorks in the deck too because you can accelerate. And
Yeah,
then
of course.
everything that has active abilities that require mana, your other creatures can just pay for it too.
I was really excited for this card,
Mhm.
but then I started actually reading the card over and over, and I was like, yeah, this is not good. Like I'm being really honest here. This is actually not good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't
I
feel
mean, I
like
guess it could make a decent Kiki Jiki deck.
eh, this is just not good.
I just feel like the pattern here with this set is mostly that these cards are just going to be played in Commander and nothing else, which begs the question why even make it a standard set in the first place. But you know,
Some cards
Hold
can
on.
be
Just to clarify here, this
very
is
good.
going to be a standard set.
yes. Does it seem like it?
It
I mean, you
shouldn't
literally
be.
have training grounds right there as a chase for the set.
Insane. Actually, now that you started on that, and since
Sure.
we're basically done with Tazri,
Yeah.
go ahead, either JP or Ale, and get started on the blue. that we
You
have so
talked
far.
about training grounds. Go for
Sure.
it.
So Training Grounds, a great card that was like what 30, 40, 50 bucks. Now
Yeah.
it's gonna be pennies again. So
Yeah,
that's great.
$10.
So Training Grounds is 1 blue. Enchantment that reads activated abilities of creatures you control costs 2 less to activate. This effect can reduce the mana, and that costs to less than 1 mana. So it'll always be at least 1 mana, but it can severely discount activate abilities. So yeah, it's a great reprint. It's I think the only reprint in this set. I think it was just designed to make the set appealing because obviously it's kind of a hard
It's
sell.
like a money card.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just a great reprint. I'm glad that we're getting it because I
I
remember
don't
like
want to open any aftermath. What if I get a training grounds?
I know, right? That'd probably be one of your best options to get. I also wanted to highlight filler. I think
Filter
yeah,
out.
filter out.
Filter
Yeah,
out.
filter out
That's
is
really good.
really good. I want to get like 1,000 copies of these. So it's like a
Joyra and
colorless.
Urza would have a field day with this.
Oh yeah, it's so good. So 1 colorless and 2 blue for an instant that reads return all non-creature non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So yeah, you can go insane with like an Urza or like a Joyra or like even like for a bouncing effect, it's pretty good. Even though it's not like a Cyclonic Rift, it's like a mini Cyclonic Rift for like control builds or something. Like they have a bunch of permanents that aren't
I mean,
creatures.
maybe not for control builds because you don't get rid of the creatures.
No, I know, but yeah, but if you go against control, which generally does
yes.
not have
Yes.
creatures, then it'll be kind of cool. I mean, I would just stick this in any blue deck regardless. It's so good. Like I'm talking about EDH though, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones I don't care.
Okay.
I mean-
So I'll cover
Actually,
them. Like
I don't
so-
think filter out is too terrible in standard. The problem is that most of the meta is really creature based, but there's also like for example, a mono black aggro will
All the battles,
absolutely
like-
destroy you
Yeah.
with all the battles too, but will absolutely destroy you with planeswalkers, and I think it could potentially be relevant. Yeah.
Depending if the incubator tokens are relevant, you can also
Yeah,
bounce the
they
incubator
are.
tokens.
They
So
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
because
So
they
there you
start
go.
as non-creature tokens, and then
Mhm.
you make them
Yeah.
into
There you
creature
go.
tokens.
So you just bounce them.
So incubation tokens, blood tokens,
Yep. True. Even treasure.
battles, treasures. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much more relevant than in standard specifically than other people might think. I'm going to talk about Tolarian Contempt now. So it's 3 blue enchantment. When Tolarian Contempt enters the battlefield, put a rejection counter on each creature your opponent controls. Your opponents control, so multiple. At the beginning of your end step, for each opponent, choose up to one target creature they control with a rejection counter. That creature's owner puts it on top or bottom of their library.
Hmm.
This
This
is actually pretty
fun.
good.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. It's an uncommon in Commander. This is just fun. It sucks that it costs 5 mana, but it's still very fun. Next up we got the Vesuvian Drifter. I like this because it's a creature in blue, and I enjoy blue creatures. Um, it's a 2/4 flyer for 2 colorless and a blue. It's a shapeshifter, which I think is really cool. So I can add that to my Merfolk deck. And you may look at the top card of your library at any time. At the beginning of each combat, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, um, if you reveal a creature card this way, it becomes a copy of the creature until the end of the turn, except it has flying. That's really cool. It's like a combat trick, like blue card. I find that really fun. I think there's potential to like get a combo off with this. Really, like just
Yes.
Yeah.
So Congregation at Dawn is a card. It's like
Yes.
white, and a green, and you look for
Really
3
good
creatures and
card.
put them on top. So you play this. You're playing a band deck basically. Let's say birds, like for modern, birds on turn 1. If they don't bolt it,
Mhm.
then you play this on turn 2, and before like on turn 3 with the mana you have, you could literally just Congregation at Dawn, look for Emrakul, put Emrakul on top. This go to combat. This becomes Emrakul.
Yeah,
Attack with Annihilator 6 with a 15/15
correct.
flyer.
Insane.
Yep.
So
crazy.
yeah, this is very strong.
Mhm.
I might think like if anything's gonna see like consistent play, it might be this.
Mhm.
I'd be
Agreed.
interested to see.
All right. So up next we got the black section. JP, your color. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna talk about Ayara's Oathsworn because Ayara, but I'm the real card I'm interested like talking about is because of the art is Orbert Scavengers, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Ayara's Oathsworn is 1 and a black for a 2/2 creature human knight. It has menace, and whenever Ayara's Oathsworn deal combat damage to a player, if it has fewer than 4+1 counters on it, put a +1 counter on it. Then, if it has exactly 4+1 counters on it, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, as soon as it has 4+1 counters, every single time it deals combat damage to a player, you basically just search your library.
I feel like it's decent if you just want to get bodies on the battlefield with like on it in a night deck, just because this
Yeah.
is what you want to be doing. But that's like about it for me.
This is very slow,
Yeah.
is the problem. 4+1 counters is very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe in like a green black deck, you could make something out of it. Just
Yeah.
kind of like try to get the counters on it like as quickly as possible.
Not
and then
only
just-
green black because proliferate, but because other green also affects putting additional counters.
Right.
So this might be interesting in that regard. So we got next is Blot Out, 2 and a black. It's an instant. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control.
Excellent.
It's
Excellent.
speed exile with and your opponent gets to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But usually
Then
in something like standard, like hitting the thing with your biggest mana value is going to be like the thing you want to remove anyways, most of the time.
next you got Death Rattle Oni, 6 and a black for a 5/4 creature demon spirit with flash. This spell costs 2 less for each creature that died this turn, and when Death Rattle Oni enters the battlefield, destroy all the creatures that were dealt damage this turn. Reading this might actually see play.
Mm.
I'm not sure. Like if you have a lot of like you only all you need is 3 creatures. 3 creatures are attack. They all die. Your opponent triple blocks because they have a million creatures or I don't know bigger creatures. You pay 1 black for a 5/4 and destroy their creatures.
Maybe.
Mm,
It's just so expensive. It requires so much.
Yeah, but
Eh,
I think it's situational, but
very
when it does come in, it's gonna do some damage. But other than that, like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still a flash demon.
Yeah.
Like it's still a 5/4 you can flash in. If somebody wipes your board, like you got like a backup demon that's pretty chunky.
It's pretty cool if it was for limited.
yeah,
Because in limited I can definitely see this being like a pretty good pick.
it's a shame it's uncommon. Can you imagine this thing being common, being allowed for
Oh
use in
my
copper?
god. now you're cooking. Yeah.
a Gurmag, like just like a Gurmag that's like, oh, you killed my stuff? That's even better.
Yeah. Let me just board wipe you and leave a creature on the field. Flash, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Disgusting.
next card being Markov Baron,
Mhm.
2 and a black for a 2/2 creature vampire noble. It has Convoke, Lifelink, and it's a lord in addition, so other vampires get +1/+1.
Yep.
And it has Madness.
Yep.
So you can discard this, tap your vampires to cast it with its Madness cost,
Mhm.
and then you pump your field.
Yep.
This is all everything a vampire deck would ever want.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it in my Anjay deck. So
Actually,
Yeah.
we kept talking about this, but my brain still kind of like started liking the Death Rattle only for standard now.
And so the next card, the card I actually like, is I love the art, and the alternate art for this card is amazing. Urborg Scavengers. So it's a 2 and a black for a 2/2 creature spirit. When Urborg Scavengers enters the battlefield or attacks, exile target card from a graveyard and put a +1 counter on Urborg Scavenger. Urborg Scavenger has flying as long as a card exiled with it has flying. The same is true for first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink menace, reach, trample, and vigilance.
yeah. That's fun.
That is
It's
I
pretty
really
good.
like the art, and then it does something really fun. So
That one actually, I can see this scene play just because of the removal
Definitely.
of stuff from the graveyard.
definitely.
Maybe not now because we have better options in black that remove stuff in standard, but it's a pretty good alternate.
the 2 mana.
That's exactly why that thing removes it from the graveyard. So you just kill something for 2 mana, and then like
Now,
if it
the
was
thing-
like a
the
big
thing
creature,
is-
you put this down. It's
Now
insane.
imagine this: the upside that this one has is because it'll get the keyword. So if you do like remove, like say an Atraxa, you automatically get like 3 or 4 keywords right out of the gate. So that's and you know
And
that Atraxa
Atraxa-
actually sees play. So this one
Yeah.
is like a removal
And
for
then
Atraxa.
Shieldred, even a Shieldred, like you're removing a Shieldred
Yeah.
from the graveyard. That's huge.
Yeah,
That's huge. Like you're killing their entire strategy by removing a Trax or a Shieldred from the
and
graveyard.
getting the keyword, which is a pretty good upside.
Yeah, just getting a Death Toucher, and it's like, okay, cool. You have a big creature. What are you
Mhm.
gonna do about it? You want to lose that one too?
Yeah. Yep.
That's actually really good.
Mhm. I
Moving
dig
on to red. He's starting off with Human Berserker, Arnie Metalbrow. He's a legendary creature, Human Berserker. Whenever a creature you control attacks or a creature enters the battlefield under your control attacking, you may pay 1 and a red. If you do, you may put a creature with mana value less than that creature's mana value from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Am I reading that wrong, or can you just keep repeating this until you run out of mana or creatures in hand?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, you're correct.
Fun.
Yeah, it
Just
enters tapped and attacking.
fun.
He triggers. You pay 2 mana. You play another thing. So if you have something
the
that's
cost goes from like until you reach 1, I suppose, right? Because it has to be mana value less.
with mana value less, yeah, but you could have a 0 drop.
Yeah. No, it's still insane. Like it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's like a red kind of like cascade type of deal in which but it's like off of your combat.
Just vomit your whole hand. Yeah.
And up next we got Kolaghan Warmonger. 2 colorless and a red, same as Arnie. He's a creature, ogre warrior. He has haste. He's a 3/2, and whenever he attacks, you look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a dragon card from among them and put them onto your hand. Put the rest in the bottom in any random order. Potentially really fun for dragon decks or decks that look for a certain like dragon to combo off. I don't know of any of that in standard like currently, but there used to be an archetype that ran that way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got Plarg and Nasari coming in for 3 colorless, 2 red mana, legendary creature, or Ifrit. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player exiles the top card of their library until they exile a non-land card. An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way. You may cast up to 2 spells from among them. From among those other cards. From among the other cards. Wait, what? What other cards? Ooh, I gotta go back there. But you can cast them without paying their mana cost. Can we go back there for a second? What do you mean other cards? I got lost on that part of the text.
At the beginning of your upkeep, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card.
Mm-hmm.
An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way. So you choose which opponent chooses a card.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
So he chooses one card and you get to cast the others then.
And you get and you may cast up to two spells from among the cards
others.
Exiled this way.
So basically, it proves a point that this shouldn't be like a standard set because this only works extremely well if you are playing against 3 other people.
Correct.
Not if you're playing against someone else. Yeah. But it's really solid in Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk about the last card.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
This card is so strong.
Yes.
I love this. So, Reckless Handling, 1 and up red for a sorcery. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle, then discard a card at random. If an artifact card was discarded this way, Reckless Handling deals 2 damage to each opponent.
It's worse gamble. Yay.
I don't care. This is going straight to Osgear.
Yeah.
And it's so strong.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yep. It's just another gamble for 2
It's
mana,
another gamble.
and it deals 2 damage to each opponent. This is great.
And even if you discard the artifact, which you probably want to, you get to burn the opponent on top of it. And you have it in your graveyard, so you get to reanimate it.
This even sounds fun for something like, this would be legal in Pioneer, right?
Yeah.
This sounds fun in Pioneer. Like, I don't know what's running in the Pioneer meta right now, but like something, for example, I remember back in Kaladesh, you used to have the little unearthed cockroaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little dude you used to like bring back. So if you want to like look for something that has unearth or something like that, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, potentially, this is a great card if you're planning on building the Mishra that gives your artifacts on Earth.
Oh yeah,
that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's more options. I like that. Anyone want to get started on green?
I'll do green.
Okay.
Okay. So we got Aminous Might. It's a 2 colorless and a green for a sorcery that reads: this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a legendary creature you control. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. So it's a pretty good fight spell if you have a Legendary Matters deck, which in Standard, I believe we do have a couple of decks that are like Legendary Matters. So it's a pretty good fight spell. Next, you have Leyline Immersion. It's 3 colorless and a green for an enchantment aura that reads: Enchant legendary creature. Enchant creature has Ward 2 and tap, add 5 mana of any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells. This would go great in like a Niv Mizzet deck or something. Like, this is kind of crazy. You could just be like, well, I cast Niv Mizzet. I get a bunch of extra spells to my hand, or like an Atraxa, and then I could just be like, okay, I can just tap that thing now. It has protection, by the way, and now I can cast my stuff because it's any combination of colors. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Now we get to this is the first one, right? The first planeswalker. Yeah, this is the first planeswalker we have that is no longer a planeswalker. It's a creature. So we got Nissa Resurgent Amethyst. It's 2 colorless and a green for legendary creature Elf Scout. It's a 3/3, and it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Then, if it's the second time this ability resolved this turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or an elemental card. Put that card onto your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. So this goes great like in the 4-color Omnath deck, because it basically adds more value to your deck, especially with the whole thing about land matters and elementals, if you're running elementals in an Omnath deck. But besides that, I mean, something that meant I think it was President Kenobi. He talked about how these cards, the idea was cool, like he thought it was a cool idea, but he brought a great point that in terms of the art style and the way they don't look that different than they did when they were planeswalkers. When you compare them to like the Magic Origins ones, where they look young because obviously they were before they got the spark and all stuff, they actually look very different, of course, because they were young. But even like in terms of the dress and the costuming they had, they look very different. Right now, most of these planeswalkers just look like the planeswalker cards they used to be right before they got desparked. So when we get to like Omnixilis and stuff like that, they all look the same. They don't look any different. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's a good observation when he talked about that.
I'm especially not a fan of the fact that when Ajani and Nissa and all the other planeswalkers got their Phyresis cured, there was absolutely like no repercussions on their body, like nothing.
True.
Their faces didn't change, like nothing happened.
True.
And
yeah.
it makes me a little sad. I wish that there was something like something that marks them that says, hey, like we went through this, Like you wouldn't even guess that they just like that this is from the aftermath of a huge war,
So Pleasant Kenobi talked on that because he talked also about like the planeswalkers who got like Phyrexianized and then they came back and it was just basically the same. His argument, he thinks, is because Wizards doesn't want to have like the important characters go through anything meaningful in terms of like how they look, because you want to market them. So you can't have Jace with like a giant scar, although it would probably look cool or whatever. They don't want to do that because they don't want to fundamentally change how they look for promotional purposes, and because you want to keep marketing these characters even if they're not planeswalkers for the time being. I still think I agree with you. Like if the whole thing about like long form storytelling is that you have repercussions to what you're doing. I mean, you killed off Nicol Bolas. Why can't you just have Nissa have scars?
Huh? That's my problem. That's my problem.
Yeah,
they didn't really kill off Nicol Bolas.
No, I know.
Some planeswalker died.
Sure. Like 2 of them, right?
Yeah, like super unimportant ass planeswalkers
Exactly.
died.
Dack Fayden and
oh no, I think we lost Tybalt.
Like,
but
like for War of the Spark, Dack Fayden and like the red green one, I forgot his name.
There you go.
Domri Raid.
Okay, sure, but
he died.
Like,
Domri
was so iconic.
Yeah, Domri and Dack Fayden died, and in this one, like Luca and
Jaya, no? Didn't Jaya die?
I'm not sure.
They killed off Luca. There was like no need. The dude
Luca did die. That's true. He did die.
Luca got like suckered into being a Phyrexian. They shouldn't have killed him. That's like.
It's okay. When we go back to Ikoria, he'll come back. It's fine.
Right.
He'll rise from the rubble and be like, "Oh, I'm a creature now." I don't know why. Whatever, because nothing matters here.
He can bond with himself now.
Exactly. Okay, so we got 2 more. So we got Tranquil Frillback. It's 2 colorless and a green.
Oh wait, never mind. I see what you mean now. No.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped one. You're totally right. Open the way. It's an X spell. It's X and 2 green for sorcery. X can be greater than the number of players in the game, which is, you're going to see it already sucks because of that. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards, which sounds good, but then put those lands onto the battlefield tapped and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So by default, this card will never be more than X 4
it's
ever.
A 3-mana crop rotation at best.
Yes, and it sucks because it's 6
even
mana for 4. Exactly, it's 6 mana for 4 lands, but they come into play tapped, and you have to reveal them from the top of your library, so you can't even search for them. I don't understand why it's so severely underpowered. It's ridiculous.
I just realized you can't even search for them. It's reveal. Wow. Okay.
Yes, it's reveal. It almost seems like it's designed for Arena. It's like it's supposed to say seek, and I guess they were like, let's just make it a paper card, like a paper playable card, and then just put like reveal from the top instead of like seek.
Seek is looking at random anyways, though.
Yeah,
like
but seek would have better odds than this would probably have.
No, it does. It does. It's fundamentally like just really different.
Exactly. I don't know, it's trash. And if you play this in standards, even more trash. So again, it begs the question: is this even a standard set? Because it doesn't seem like it. We've gone like through...
honestly, I would have just preferred that they would have made you like shuffle and then reveal.
Sure.
That way.
At least at least you have like the fake sense that you are getting better value from the top of your deck. Yeah, but not even that. So we got 2 more. We got Tranquil Frillback, 2 colorless and a green, creature dinosaur, 3/3. When Tranquil Frillback enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 green up to 3 times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, choose up to that many. You have either destroy target artifact or enchantment. You can exile target player's graveyard, and you can gain 4 life. It's okay because it has modal abilities. You can do different things. You can destroy 2 target artifacts, target artifact or enchantment, and then exile a graveyard. Or if they don't have an interesting graveyard, you can just destroy 3 things. Or if you're really losing, you can just pay 3 times and then you gain 12 life. So you get back.
From what I'm reading, is you choose up to that many. You only choose 1 mode for each green. You can only choose either you gain 4 life, exile target player's graveyard, or destroy target artifact or enchantment. From that's what I've been reading. Like when all this time you've been talking about Nisa Resurgent Animus and Open the Way. I've been trying to understand the wording on this card. I was like, okay, pay 3 up to that many times. Choose is like
then if you explain it like that, it's even worse than what I thought. At least you could have been better if you could just repeat the same mode.
Pay 6 and gain 12 life.
Yeah, at least that would have been much better
in like standard or something. That's actually like could like be the difference in a whole game, really.
Exactly, but if you're telling me
like the wording is so weird though.
It's a weird wording.
Like it could be you could just choose 3 times one of those. Because gain
maybe they just didn't have enough space in the card and they just said, it's fine, they'll figure it out.
my guess is that you get to repeat the effect because it's a freaking rare. So it better not be just a trash rare.
No,
where you can't even,
I'm pretty sure it's a trash rare, man. I'm like almost confident it's a trash rare, to be honest.
Well, I tried.
Like it's a bad Rex Sage at its best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well then if it's like that, then it's just trash. I take back everything I just said.
Either way, like if you're right, then it's decent. It's pretty good.
Decent. Yeah, sure.
And if we're right, then it's kind of trash.
It's just super horrible. Yeah, no, it's fucking horrible. Understated Upheaval, 1 colorless or green sorcery. It has Undergrowth. Distribute X/1/1 counters among any number of target creatures you control, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard as you cast this spell. Creatures you control gain vigilance until the end of turn. It's fine for an uncommon. I wish it had trample, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah,
it's fine.
I feel like in more like casual commander groups where like the focus is like on creatures and like the whole battle cruiser thing.
Yeah.
This is actually decent. Like it gives your creatures like, well, the problem is you just distribute X. It's not like your creatures get +X, which would really
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just decent. I wish it would have just had trample, but because might as well. I understand.
I think trample would have been like this would have actually made this a rare. Honestly, like +X and trample would have been.
At least it would have been playable.
Yeah. No,
As it stands,
I feel like
okay.
it would be pretty easy to like kind of fill your graveyard with cards and make a bunch of like especially with like kind of like pest like mechanics or anything like that. Like you just sacrifice, you get a bunch of tokens, so then you just use all the token creatures in your graveyard to give like the boost, and then you have. It wouldn't be terrible if it was just worded a little differently. It's just 2 words they got to change on that, man. It's a shame.
Yeah. Those are all green because the set has 50 cards.
Yeah. JP, you've been cut off of the colors, so go for the multicolored.
Yeah. Get all the colors.
Let's see. Next card is Calyx, Guided by Fate. 1 green and a white for a 2/2 legendary enchantment creature human druid. It has Constellation, which is whenever Calyx, Guided by Fate or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target creature. When Calyx or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Do this only once each turn. This is actually quite strong with like evasive enchantments. It's like just barely reaching like it because it goes if it had blue for all the evasive enchantments.
Yeah,
this could actually be very strong. It's so strong, but it's not as strong.
Yeah. Either way, like enchant the flyer, and then there's like that one flyer that's like I think it's like a 3 cost that or 2 cost actually that makes auras cost 1 less. Doesn't make it absolutely terrible. Actually, you can just kind of yeah, like bird, turn 2, turn 3, calyx. You're not doing anything in that combat. But you can, like, next turn you enchant the bird, you smack in, you make a copy of the bird. Your stuff costs 2 less. Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
This next card is Campus Renovation, 3 red and a white for a sorcery. Return up to 1 target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards.
I think
Actually,
that's
not
pretty cool.
bad.
Yeah.
For an
I
uncommon,
think that's an excellent, like,
Yeah.
precon card, in my opinion.
yes.
Like, this is the kind of card you would just stick in a precon and make people excited about playing something in their precon that's, like,
Mhm.
different but not super overpowered.
Yes. Next card is Cosmic Rebirth, 1 green and a white for an instant. It's choose target permanent card in your graveyard. If it has mana value 3 or less, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it on the battlefield. You put it into your hand. Gain 3 life. The fact that this is an instant is what saves it from being horrible. But 3 mana for this is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
No, but it is fun to do something like, I don't know, maybe like get like Winter Orb or Stacks pieces out from your graveyard, especially in those colors.
Yeah. Especially in those colors, which is a little harder to reanimate stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Next card is Danitha, New Benalia's Light, 1 green and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature human knight, Vigilance Trample, Lifelink. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an aura or equipment spell from your graveyard.
That's cool.
So, very, very good. When you think of it, think of this because of how you're going to be playing this. Think of this as a Lurrus, and Lurrus is a very strong card.
Mhm.
So this is very strong.
Yep.
I was actually thinking that these two go really well together.
So 3 mana, 3 keywords, a 2/2. It was very strong.
Mm-hmm. And I also, like I was mentioning, it's like I think it just goes really well with the Cosmic Rebirth too.
Yeah.
Like it's you can bring back your commander with it. Like it gives you more targets, which I think is excellent.
Next card is Feast of the Victorious Dead. 1 white and a 1 black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if 1 or more creatures died this turn, you gain that much life and distribute that many +1 counters among creatures you control. For 2 mana, pretty decent, pretty strong.
Sabroso.
The next card is funny. Is Gold Forge Thopterix. It's a white and a blue for an artifact creature, Dinosaur Thopter. Flying Lifelink 1/3. Each legendary permanent you control has a ward 2.
Legendary Matters decks, kind of like what's his face? Joda would just get a lot of use out of this.
It's nice because Huatli and Sahili are a couple, and the flavor text is like Huatli built something that Sahili would be proud of.
Yeah. That means like Watley has gotten into tinkering, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
it'd be really fun to see like a Watley, like either creature or planeswalker,
like a red white green Huatli, like very tinkery.
Ooh, putting green in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
white.
Spicy.
She is white green and white red. There's cards from both colors for her.
Yeah, because I was thinking like white red, but at the same time I kind of feel like if she's just kind of like chilling in nature, but also tinkering, like she's making all of her tinkering based off of like the dinosaurs and like the stuff in the plane.
Actually, considering that we're going back to Exelon, and she has white blue for this Gold Forge Thopterix, she might be blue, like white blue red or white blue green.
You think she's going to be 3 colors specifically?
I mean, no, but it'd be interesting. We haven't had a planeswalker that's those colors.
I would love to see like a Jeskai like.
Actually, we have. Never mind.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a Jeskai Artificer. I remember like talking about this before. How I want to build both a Jeskai artifact deck and a what's the other color combination? Red green Teamer Teamer and the Jeskai one, and I feel like the only Jeskai commander, like the only Jeskai legendary that really sets itself up for artifacts is Elsha.
Yeah.
But
But
Elsha is just
Yeah.
you can just
This-
run the super optimized CEDH version and
Yeah.
just have a better time,
yeah,
quote unquote.
Next card is Jirina Dauntless General, a white and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature human soldier. When Jirina Dauntless General enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, and you can sacrifice Jirina. Humans you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Pushing more of the human.
very
thing,
push.
So this could be very useful, and if humans becomes a thing in standard, humans are everywhere, so
Yeah,
it could be like a small thing, like, oh yeah, you just play this because incidentally you want graveyard hate, but also all your creatures happen to be human.
hmm
Next card is the box topper for this. Joel Ryle, voice of Zalfir, 2 blue and a green for legendary creature human druid 3/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to one target land you control becomes an XX green and blue bird creature token with flying and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It's still a land. Whenever a land creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card.
yeah,
This is actually not bad. It's actually pretty good. That's actually really good, actually. Considering I've seen a blue green deck make their creatures lands, and it's very easy and comfortable at making them consistently lands. This is basically a land based, like, land creature Timna. This
yeah,
is very, like, this is actually pretty decent, like really good. And considering, like, there's the Tatyoba, the 3 mana Tatyoba, this actually might make a deck. Might not be good, but it'll make a deck. I feel like she's actually pretty strong.
Mhm.
Next card is the Kenrith's Royal Funeral. This is one of the first cards that was spoiled. It's when the Kenrith's Royal Funeral enters the battlefield, exile up to one target legendary creature from your graveyard. You draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among cards exiled this way. And legendary spells cost one less to cast for each card exiled with the Kenrith's Royal Funeral. So it can give you a discount of up to 2.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. I like
Which
how
we already
how
talked
like
about.
yeah,
but
we
I
already
like
talked
how
about
this sets up the story for Eldraine, and I'm wondering if there's any other like story cards that I might have missed that are like set up
Uh,
for what's to come.
we're going to talk about a few things that got revealed.
Mhm.
Next card is Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, 3 green and a blue for a 4/5 legendary creature, Merfolk Noble, Vigilance, Ward, and Ward 3. Whenever you cast a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent spell from your hand, look at the top X cards from your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value less than X from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Another Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, Serpent commander for blue green. We already have Knessos, which is, I think, probably better.
Mhm.
But you could just slot this in and do a lot of cool stuff with that. I'm pretty sure we were someone. I think it was Saffron Olive mentioned that Nahiri Forged in Fury might see fringe play in standard. So 4 red and a white for a 5/4 affinity for equipment. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks as the top card of your library, you may play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spell this way without paying their mana cost. The reason he mentioned this is because there's a lot of incidental things that happen to be equipments, in addition to the 4 Mirrodin cards that came out in All Will Be One.
Yeah.
That are actually quite relevant because they give you a body in addition to being strong. And there's one that's a 2/2 that gets +2/+2 in haste and becomes basically a 5 mana 4/4. And that's a dragon. Those are dragon stats, and famously 5 mana 4/4s with flying and haste have been very good throughout most of standards.
Yeah.
And now we have Nahiri's Resolve, 3 red and a white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1 attack. Creatures you control get +1 and have haste. At the beginning of your end step, exile any number of non-token artifacts and/or creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of your owner's under their owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. So it's at the next upkeep.
Yeah. Enter the
Uh,
battlefield and abilities. Anyone? Yes.
Yeah, this is not bad. I feel like 5 mana is a bit expensive for just in general, but it has 2 very strong effects.
Imagine that in Osgir, the value.
I don't feel like I would run this in my Osgear, but
But what if you do like a value version?
mine is a value version. What do you mean?
No, even more value. You get to do it twice. Now stick a panharmonic on while you're at it.
3 times.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
So next card is one very strong card.
Yes.
Narset Enlightened Exile, 1 blue, red, and no white. So 4 mana for a 3/4 legendary creature human monk. Creatures you control have prowess. Whenever Narset Enlightened Exile attacks, exile target non-creature, non-land card with mana value less than Narset's power from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy without playing its mana cost. It says a graveyard.
Yep.
That's very strong.
Ridiculous.
Mhm.
That's
Second,
almost as good
prowess?
as like the normal Narset, dude.
Yup.
This is insane. You
Prowess?
just go like, oh, okay, so like Narset
Yeah.
Windfall. Oh, okay.
Hey,
Just
prowess?
cast my whole deck.
Prowess stacks, meaning you can have a card with prowess. And there's a few cards that don't say that they have prowess, but interact very profitably with prowess. Namely, one of the dwarves that whenever you cast it into sorcery, it gets a +1 counter.
Insane.
So this is very
There's a
strong.
guy that makes treasures too, no?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There is.
Mm-hmm.
This is very strong. Not only for commander, because this is stupid commander, it's stupid strong, and for standard. There might be a deck just Jeskai spells with this.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Next card is kinda endearing with the story. Nashi, Moon's Legacy. Green as a black, green, and a blue for a 3/4, so 3 mana 3/4 legendary creature rat shaman. Menace and Ward 1. Whenever Nashi Moon's Legacy attacks, exile up to 1 target legendary or rat card from your graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy. You still have to pay its cost. And if it's a copy of a permanent, it becomes a token. So Sultai Legend matters with rat sub theme. I'm pretty sure someone mentioned how they wanted a Sultai Legends Matter deck, but I don't know specifically why, because they mentioned I think it's Keth, not Kethis. It's like there's an Abzan one that cares about the graveyard, in addition to being like a Legends Matter. But he didn't they played that and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
So-
that was Kethis, no?
no, Keth.
not
I'm not
Keth.
sure if it's
It's Keth something.
yeah, not sure.
I think it's Kethis. The Kethis, the hidden hand, no? Yeah,
Yes,
there
Keth
it
is the hidden hand. Yeah, that was correct. Yeah, because of the hidden hand. So it's very similar. Two of the same colors, except this one has blue. So, this is very nice. Now, this is a card I'm excited for. So I have a friend that loves Niv-Mizzet, and this is Niv-Mizzet Supreme.
Mhm.
White, blue, black, red, green. So Wooborg for 5 mana for a 5/5 legendary creature dragon avatar. Flying, hexproof for monocolored. Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard that's exactly 2 colors has jumpstart. So you can cast it from the graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its cost, then exile it. The reason my friend was really excited for this is because Niv-Mizzet Reborn is just generic value that it enters and draws you cards, but doesn't do anything once it's there, other than be a big body. This one can continually give you value, and that's the type of effect you'd be looking for in a proper commander. So he's very like I know I'm excited to maybe act if I get this, give it to him because this is very very fun. There's a lot of fun cards you could do with this, and I feel like this is an extremely strong commander. Not broken, just very very fair. And this is exactly what I want to be seeing from my 5-color commanders. It's very niche, but it's very strong. You'd still want to build around it, but it's not just generic good value. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. I remember reading this card when it was spoiled. You know, when the guy spoiled it. I really enjoy. I don't know, like it's a good build around. I don't know if you would stick it as like a commander. I think it'd be cool as a 99. Its ability to having jumpstart is pretty strong. But I think it just goes well with the Niv Mizzet that gets you like up to 10 cards from the top of your library.
Reborn?
Mm.
Yeah, Reborn. Yeah.
I don't like that one.
You don't
It's
like
just-
that one?
He just
I know
draws
it's,
cards.
I know it's generic. It's like the same argument with the new Atraxa, but in terms of
See,
value,
but attracts like I don't know. I like Atraxa a lot more.
but it's the same thing. You draw cards. What's
To
the
be
difference?
fair,
Mhm.
it's still a Niv Mizzet. It has flying, and it has hexproof from monocolor,
Uh,
which
I'll-
I think
I'll
is
give-
super relevant.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
I'll give you a reason why I don't like it. The other
Okay.
one. There was 3 Niv Mizzets, if I'm not mistaken, before, or 2 Niv Mizzet beforehand. Is the Fireman and Draco Genius.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are very Izzet focused decks, like because they're only blue red. So when he became 5 colors
Mhm.
and he was reborn, my friend gave me the argument that he just kind of lost his identity as an originally Izzet card, even though his 5 colors goes he's reborn. Like his identity as a dragon from Izzet was like gone,
Mhm.
and he was just
Agreed.
generic 5 color stuff.
Agreed.
This card is very Izzet in addition to being 5 colors.
Hmm.
That's fair. I can see that.
Agreed.
What's the argument for Atraxa though? Because Atraxa just it has the keywords, but
Traxxas
that's
just
where it
got
ends.
better.
Oh sure, I guess so.
Traxxas just got better. She became a supreme 99 card. She became one of the best cards that you can run in those colors if you put her like if you reanimate things, you have no reason not to put Latraxa in the deck unless it's like not in your colors because
Yeah.
it's just too good.
She's
It's-
4 colors, so it's quite difficult.
It's like shy of a Gristlebrand, dude.
Yeah, fair.
Wait,
But
she's not 4 colors. She's 3. Oh yeah, she's still 4
No,
colors.
she's still
still
4
4
colors.
colors. Yeah.
Still friggin' insane though.
Yeah.
Like a 5-color reanimator, you can run it in Kenrith really easily.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Training grounds, a Kenrith and an Entomb.
Next card is Omnixilis Captive Kingpin. 2 black red for a legendary creature demon. 4/3 flying trample. Whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put a +1 counter on Omnixilis Captive Kingpin. Exile the top card of your library until at the next end step you may play that card. This has so many combos already.
Yeah.
I think all will be 1 exactly combos with him very easily. You play him on 4, you play that on 5, make someone lose 1 life, you win the game.
I mean,
It has other combos.
you don't win right off the bat though.
Yes, you do.
With all will be 1, you just need to enable it the first time, and then it'll just keep looping. But you need
Yeah,
to enable
but-
it the first time.
You win the game.
Yeah, but you can only like obviously I guess you wouldn't combo off if you notice you can't kill all 3, but like you can only kill 2
I'm talking
people
about
at full
standard.
health.
This could just
No,
be in
no,
standard.
Oh, in
Standard,
standard.
standard.
Yeah, no. In standard, you just win. Yeah, never mind. Forget I spoke.
Yeah. It's a standard thing. Yeah.
I was thinking about Commander. Yeah.
Oh no.
JP, did you just get banished to the Shadow Realm?
I think he did banish his side around.
Yep.
Yep. He'll come back.
Hello?
Oh, you're
There you
back.
go.
There you go. Yep.
Okay. Like, with all will be 1, you just win the game either way in Commander with this. You drew
Correct.
your deck.
True.
Yeah.
Like, you just drew your deck. You can just cast anything. You find your combo.
That's assuming you got the mana for it.
You
I mean,
drew your deck.
it's
You play
rack
Lotus
though.
Petal from Exile. You play
Yeah.
Chrome Mox from Exile. You play
Oh, right.
Mana
It's
Vault,
from
Soul
exile,
Ring.
anyways. Ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's spicy. Ooh, Prosper likes that.
Mm-hmm.
Prosper likes that a
Any,
lot.
anyways,
Prosper
uh,
deals exactly 1 damage.
yeah. Pianalar Console of Revival. Red and a white for a 2/3 legendary creature human artificer. Top tiers you control have haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 color stop tier creature token with flying. This card synergizes with Rocco Street Chef, which we will talk about in a bit. Rebuild the city, 3 black, red, green. Sorcery. Choose target land, create 3 tokens that are copies of it, except they are 3/3 creatures in addition to their other types, and they have vigilance and menace. I think someone mentioned there's a combo with this card. I can't remember what's the exact combo. I think it was like Inkmonk Nexus,
Mm-hmm.
and making all your creatures like all of them like 3/3 with infect and flying, and
Ooh,
they would also have vigilance and menace.
that's pretty strong. Yeah.
But it's like a lot of mana.
Yeah. This is
So
6
it's like,
mana. Mm-hmm.
Rocco Street Chef. This is the card I'm talking about. Red, green, and white for 3 mana for a 2/4 legendary creature elf druid. At the beginning of your end step, each player exiles the top card of their library until your next end step. Each player may play that card. May play the card they exiled this way. Whenever a player plays a land from exile or casts a spell from exile, you put a +1 counter on target creature and create a food token. The reason I really like this card is, one, it synergizes with a card already here, is Pianalar Console Revival. But other than that, is it cards that synergize with effects that are already stacksy, but like make you run the stacks effect for the fact that it synergizes your deck, not just because it's a stacks effect, really get me going.
Hmm.
Card I'm going to be mentioning is Dranith Magistrate. If you play Dranith Magistrate and you play this, your opponent can't play their spells. They can still play their lands, but that's fine because you get a +1 counter and food, and so it's like you get it's kind of group huggy, but you could build it like a bit of hate, so they don't get the spell. You get +1 counter synergies and food synergies. It's very like it has a lot of build around. In addition, that it's just drawing you a card every turn.
Mm-hmm. There's so many cards nowadays that they have this caveat of like exile the top card and then casting the card. Jeez, like since what was the set that started doing this?
I'm pretty sure the
They've
set
been
that
doing
started
it for a
doing
while,
this.
actually.
I know.
M15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but M15,
M15
but what M15 started doing, and it was like few and far between. There was always like a lot of steps in order for you to get the value. But
the card I'm thinking of is Chandra Pyromaster.
mm-hmm.
It was a planeswalker, and after that, I think the effect started coming out in Khans of Tarkir. There's like the Magmatic Insight. No, Magmatic Insight is not in the Magma Vision card. That's an X and red. It's an instant, and you can play those cards from exile. It's from like Dragons of Tarkir or something like that.
Fair, but I feel like you see it more often now, like way more often.
It's the most common way to give a red card draw without giving it explicitly card draw.
Card draw.
Yeah. Like it's card advantage in a way.
Sure.
And because they're trying to give each color because card advantage is just essential for the game in general right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To the extent that every color just needs it. That's why like Esper Sentinel came into existence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a mono white card.
Yeah.
That's probably the strongest card draw effect in mono white.
Yeah.
Well, you just kind of have to make these type of effects and balance them out through specific mechanics, like green draws because of power or number of creatures. Which if I'm not mistaken, they mentioned that they're never going to do green drawing for the number of creatures ever again. They're going to be drawing because of power.
Mm-hmm.
Red draws like with the impulse draw, which is like with exiling. Black draws but loses life. Blue just draws because that's their thing. And white has like a taxing effect. Like they could potentially draw, but they don't really.
Yeah.
Speaking
Do you think white would just be too powerful if you had like draw?
Teensy bit.
I think so. Yeah.
Speaking of drawing, Samut Vizier of Naktamun.
Yeah.
1 red and a green for 3 mana for a 2/3 legendary creature human warrior cleric. First strike vigilance haste. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature enters the battlefield this turn, draw a card. I mentioned Timna earlier. This is a red green Timna. This is very strong.
Yeah.
Everybody's Timna nowadays.
Everyone's Timna. It's just a very strong effect.
Also, just like a quick note, I like zoned out when you read Rebuild the City earlier. I almost want it to be good. It's like almost good. How dare?
It's just 6 mana. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, 6 mana exactly. That's the problem with it.
I think at 4 mana they need to make less 3/3s because you make 3 copies of them.
Yeah.
3/3.
At 4 mana, like at 4 or 5 mana, 2 3/3s would be okay. At 6 mana, 3 3/3s is fine, but it's just too expensive at 6 mana.
Yeah, especially in those colors. Well, actually, you ramp in those colors anyways. I don't know.
Next card is Sarkhan, Soul of Flame. 1 blue, red for a 2/4 legendary creature, human shaman. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Sarkhan become a copy, except it's still Sarkhan, and it's legendary in addition to its other types. A lot of people were talking about this for like other dragon decks, copying like, play a Goldspan Dragon. Now I have 2 Goldspan Dragons.
Yeah.
Do a lot of cool stuff with that.
Yeah. You basically pay for it at the same moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It pays for itself if you actually attack with both. So
next card is Sigarda, Font of Blessings. 2 green and a white. I don't know why I said red. Legendary creature Angel. It's a 4/4 flying. Other permanents you control have hexproof. You may lift the top card of your library at any time, and you may cast angels and human spells from on top of your library. Our friend Fish creamed his pants when he saw this.
Of course,
correct.
So happy.
It's ridiculous.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say. If you want to be playing Angel and Humans in Selesnya colors, this is probably like the commander to be, if not Shalai.
You could even just play one or the other, and it wouldn't really matter. It would just be as good.
I'm pretty sure this is better because it gives you card advantage and to dig for your Shalai. And once you have Shalai, you have hexproof. Shalai has hexproof, and she has hexproof. So now everything in the field, and you have hexproof. So
it's insane.
The last multicolor card is Tyvar the Bellicose. 2 black and a green for a 5/4. So 4 mana, 5/4. Legendary creature Elf Warrior. Whenever 1 or more elves you control attack, they gain Death Touch until end of turn. Each creature you control has whenever a mana ability of this creature resolves, put a +1 counter on it equal to the amount of mana this creature produced. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, and also this card is... I've noticed that all the stats on these creatures are very pushed.
Yeah.
3 mana, 3/4s, 4 mana, 5/4s. This is very pushed power levels in terms of their stats.
Yeah.
I might as well try to cover the last 2 cards real quick because we have a lot more stuff to talk about. Karn Legacy Reforged, 5 mana for a legendary artifact creature golem. Karn Legacy Reforged power and toughness are equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. And at the beginning of your upkeep, add a colorless for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Until the end of turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases end.
What we're going to do is automatically one of you gets this in a booster, and you can just send it my way. It'll be great.
Note to everyone that doesn't understand that last little sentence that says You don't lose mana as steps and phases end. You still lose the mana when your turn ends.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yep.
Then Granite Ruins. It's a land. You can tap it to add colorless, or pay 2 mana, tap it, put 2/1 counters on target non-human that enter the battlefield this turn. There we go. That's the entirety of the 50 cards of March of the Machines. All
Yes.
the cards I'm most excited for Reckless Handling.
Mhm.
I actually feel like this is very, 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 very strong. And Nimbus at Supreme, because I'm excited to see how my friend builds it. I know
Nice.
I also know I'm gonna help him a lot because I'm excited for that deck a lot.
I dig Trading Grounds and like Filter Out. Those are the ones kind of like, yeah, I dig them.
It's Training Grounds and Karn for me, honestly. Like Karn is just too easy. I really want to build a colorless deck out of him. It's an easy deck to build. You're just making a bunch of mana for basically no reason.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got up next? Actually, there's
Let's-
a lot of things to talk.
let's
to, like,
talk
to
about
go
the quick-
over.
Let's talk about the quick things. The Commander Masters. The first look at Commander Masters.
Yeah. The
Right,
creature,
let me
the face
sit on
cards.
it for a minute.
Yeah, all the face cards and a few of the a few cards that got revealed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go. First look at Commander Masters. So, start scrolling down here, and we're obviously taking off with the Jeweled Lotus. Go ahead.
We
Mike.
already saw that Jewel Lotus, but that art got
It's
revealed on how its foiling works. It is absolutely insane.
Yes, that's true.
That card
$300
Yep.
easily.
first week.
Yep. Looks like a Pokemon card at this point.
Yeah.
They look like Pokemon cards.
I like how the art style for for one of the showcase are for the legendaries. I hope that's like the art style consistently, because we see another card below that has that same art style. We see the Capture of Jing Zhao, which is a Portals 3 Kingdoms card. It has no reason for it not to be reprinted, and this is a great reason for it to be reprinted. So it needed a reprint, and I'm glad it has it.
Good job, Wizards.
Including Personal Tutor, which is also another card from that same set that needed a reprint, and no reprint, and I'm glad it's getting a reprint. It's probably gonna still, like, I think it's gonna tank the same way Imperial Recruiter tanked. Like it's but it's as a tutor, it'll probably still stay at a decent $20 $20 range. We see Selvala, and this is what I mentioned as the art.
Yeah.
It's like the
consistent
side,
fuchsia border.
No, like the pose. Look like
the side profile.
The side profile. That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. Yeah. The showcase are going to be the side profiles. See, the legendaries. That seems like a cool thing to have consistent around all your cards. I'm pretty sure we get later on further below. We start getting like the actual legendaries.
There you go.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Zulodok Void Gorger, 5 and a colorless. It's a legendary creature, Eldrazi 7/4. Colorless spells you cast from your hand with mana value 7 or greater have Cascade.
Insane.
I feel like as a 6 mana 7/4, this is perfect for the stats and what it does, and very big Eldrazi doing stuff. Though maybe if you bumped up that mana cost, you could have just been colorless spells you cast have Cascade. With no, color spells with mana value 7 or greater.
Oh, okay.
Not color spells.
Got it.
But like because you would cascade into a spell that you could cascade into, but
True.
you can't. This one is just the spell just has cascade, and that's it. It's still 3 spells for the value the value of 1.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool otherwise.
I mean, you always hit something. You always hit like a big Eldrazi, a medium Eldrazi, and then a mana rock.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
And this is the card this is the deck I'm excited for. It is Anixia, Hand of Erebos. So 2 white, black, and a green for a 4/4 legendary creature enchantment. Demigod. It has menace, and other enchantment creatures you control have menace. Whenever Onyxia enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black zombie creature in addition to its other types. The reason I'm excited for this card is not because of her, but because of what she implies. Now, you know me, I like sacrificing, and what other way of getting enchantment cards into your graveyard than sacrificing? So I'm hoping that a secondary commander for this deck is Abzan and sacrifices enchantments, because that's something I've wanted ever since I entered Magic the Gathering. Because my first few decks were white, black, and green, black with enchantments. I'm very, very excited for that. Feel like this next commander is what Orengo is gonna turn his Urza into. So
Yes.
The Planeswalker Party.
The Planeswalker Party. You gotta make that a little bigger, but I can read it. So it is Commodore Guff. Yeah, Guff.
Yeah.
Colorless.
Commodore Guff.
Colorless. 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 white for a Planeswalker that has 5 loyalty. At the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on target Planeswalker you control. The +1 is you can put a 1/1 red wizard card, red wizard token that has tap 1, add 1 red, spend this mana only to cast Planeswalker spells, and then a -1. You draw X cards, and Commander Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of Planeswalkers you control. Yeah, when I saw this, I'm like, am I really gonna change my Urza to just make it a Jeskai commander deck? Because
I mean, it's Jeskai Planeswalkers, but it has wizard synergies.
yes, I know. So you can just stick all the good wizards that you already have.
Yes, the funny part is this combos very easily with Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yes,
Because you tap your wizards for mana, cast a spell, untap your wizards for mana, tap your wizards for mana.
Yep. Which I'm
and
pretty
that's
sure
a
that
common
card's gonna
thing.
be in the deck.
Yeah,
I
it has
think
to be.
I feel like these decks in general, they're gonna be like, since they
Very
already
well
cost
built.
like, yeah, they have to be because they're promising a lot. They're promising you like a Planeswalker Jeskai deck. They're promising you an Eldrazi deck, and those can't come
Yeah.
cheap. And I know the MS, there's no MSRP, but when you go to Amazon, it's like $60 or $70 the commander
Yeah.
deck. So they have to have inherent value in them. So I think this will be no different. It'll have like really good. Like it won't have like Jace the Mind Sculptor, but I'm pretty sure it'll have a lot of really good Planeswalkers in these colors. And yeah, I'm definitely buying, like, out of all of these.
No, man,
this is the first one I wanna buy.
you trust Wizards of the Coast too much, Orengo. I don't know.
They're not gonna put. I know they're not gonna put Jace, but they
Jace
could
the
just-
Mind Sculptor, yeah.
No, they're not gonna put. But they can put like Chandras, like a
But
bunch
why-
of the good Chandras.
But listen.
Why not? I agree.
Hypothetically, why not?
I agree. Why not? I agree.
I mean,
especially when
considering it's not
yeah.
seeing play in modern, it sees fringe play in like Legacy and maybe Vintage.
Yeah.
And it's actually like a $20 card.
I agree.
It's not that expensive either.
I know.
Printed into the ground.
I agree. The thing is, I don't know if it'll be the same for the Eldrazi deck. I don't think they're gonna they're not
reprinting any of the Titans.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe 13 mana Emrakul.
Which really sucks. I mean, again, why not?
I
Yeah,
definitely agree with you.
They're not.
But they're not. They might stick it in the actual set, but they're not gonna put it in the commander.
They should at least put the worst versions of the Titans, like in the decks.
They probably will.
13 mana Emrakul or Cozy like the Great Distortion, because they're not putting Ulamog's the Ceaseless Hunger.
Yep.
That is very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The next card is the Sliver Grave Mother.
Mm-hmm.
The underwhelming ass Sliver Grave Mother.
You say that, but there's a lot of interesting things with this. So Sliver Grave Mother.
It's just gonna be another Sliver deck that doesn't even play Slivers in it. I'm not that excited about it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like,
It's not gonna be the first Sliver. That's what you're saying.
I don't think it's gonna be the first sliver, but I think that like eventually the way to find like the best value with it is just gonna be by like not playing slivers at all and just say screw it. And I don't know. I just haven't had that much fun with sliver decks because everyone just ends up playing the first sliver and then they're like, oh yeah, what are you playing? Oh yeah, it's the first sliver. Oh, like, how many slivers does it have? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it's no longer tribal. It's more like value.
I mean, I've never seen, like, I know the deck exists, but I've never seen, like, physically a sliver deck that just not, it isn't like with a sliver command that is.
I mean,
And
generally.
you have left us again.
Oh no, you left this again. I mean, I've seen a couple of them being kind of value centric, where you have like the first sliver, and then you just have a bunch of like good enchantments, good artifacts that you kind of cascade down into. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Okay,
So,
fair.
Legendary creature sliver. The legend rule doesn't apply to slivers you control. Each sliver has Encore X, where X is its mana value, and it itself has Encore 5, so just like its mana value. Something cool about this is that this gives haste. So the Encore gives haste,
Yeah.
and I saw that you play Hermit Druid. It's like a multiple carded combo. Hermit Druid is like one of the few non-slivers. You play Ashnod's Altar, and you have like any of the two like Gemhide Sliver that you could tap your sliver for mana. And when you activate the Hermit Druid, you have no basics in your deck, so you mill your entire deck. You pay the Encore cost for one sliver. You make you make 3. You sacrifice, like, you tap all 3 for mana, then sacrifice them to Ashnod's Altar, and you can just start snowballing all your slivers from your graveyard.
Okay.
I see what you mean.
I see. Yeah,
Like,
I see it.
So Hermit Druid's there just to mill your deck, but once your deck is in the graveyard with with Ashnod and Gem any like you don't even need the Gemhide at first. You could have Ashnod's in play and you mill your graveyard any way you do. Then Encore out any of the, like, you could Encore out a Gemhide for 2 mana, basically. Then you Encore out the next one, because you make 3 of them. Then you can pay 2 to Encore out the next one. You can pay more mana to Encore out the next one, and Encore out until you basically fill out your board, or sacrifice them to keep Encoring out the rest of them. Eventually, you get a Sliver Legion out, and you kind of just win the game, because that just 3 Sliver Legions wins you the game.
Okay.
So it's like Sliver with Graveyard Synergy, which is very fun for me particularly.
Wait, but how do you get the 3 Sliver Legions?
Because of the Encore, no?
Encore, you pay 5 mana, you bring them from your graveyard to play.
Yeah.
You get 3 of them.
You give everything with that sliver. You give everything Encore.
What does it?
Encore
Sliver
says-
Legion is a coat of arms for slivers.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
get
because
3 coat of arms.
because
So
the Encore, yeah.
They get +3/+3 for each other sliver.
Yeah.
So
Right,
with 5
that's
sliver, they would
okay.
have 15 +15 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get
So
to
it
do a
doesn't
lot
take-
of crazy combos.
It doesn't take many slivers to win the game once you
Yeah.
have that.
Interesting.
Also, you could just have a bunch of creatures that copy other creatures, and just have a bunch of extra slivers, like the good ones that have legendary. Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure they're gonna lean in. I'm pretty sure they're gonna lean in
Copy
on
the
that.
5-color sliver.
Oh, for sure. I'm pretty sure that deck has probably copy creatures, because they'll just be like, oh, we
The
can't put
legend
like
rule doesn't apply.
expensive ass slivers, so we'll just put some of the cheaper ones, and then just put some copy creatures. See, you can copy your commander 1,000 times, or something crazy like that. I can see it happening.
I wonder if the complementary commander is also going to be like a sliver. I do hope so.
I hope so too. Yeah, definitely.
But that is the end of Commander Masters.
Yep.
The next set that got teased and just kind of previewed with art is the next set itself is
Lord of the Rings.
Wilds. No, like the next proper set.
Proper,
Next
there we
proper
go.
set. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's Wilds of Eldraine.
Second. What? Let's go over here.
They talked a little bit about one of the things they mentioned about that new set is they're finally printing the Walking Dead cards into the collector boosters.
Finally.
Finally, we're gonna get that expensive ass Rick
Yeah.
cheaper. Well, nominally cheaper, hopefully.
So, Wilds of Eldraine, it'll be coming, like the previews will be coming August 15th, and the pre-release is like September 7th, and the proper release is the global tabletop launch is September 8th.
Yep.
All we got is like art.
Who's that? Is that Liliana? But
No,
like-
this is like the evil witch.
It's Liliana with white hair.
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Like evil witch person.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the one with the apple, literally like the evil witch from all the fairy
Yeah.
tales.
We got Will.
Hold on, we're getting there.
So this is
Actually,
going
we
to be
don't
another
get
art
Will
of
again.
the.
Again, we just have her.
Another
yeah.
Liliana. Yep.
I
This
love
is
that.
the same person.
I love this art though. I
Yeah, it's
love
pretty
it.
good. Yeah, it's good.
So we get Will as basically the new king.
Yep. King of the North. Yes, I see what they're doing.
He's not the new king though.
No, he's basically the new king because next we got Ashiok.
Oh.
Which is apparently the next big bad, at least
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future.
And she's a creature now.
Well, they're
They.
a creature.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, are they going to be a creature? Or are they
I'm
gonna
pretty
be,
sure it's gonna be a creature. Yeah, for sure.
They're not.
I don't
Probably
think
not
they lost their spark, man.
Yeah.
I don't, because if they're in Eldraine, I don't think they're not going to have a spark.
I mean,
yeah,
Otherwise, how did they get there?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't Nixilis get thrown into New Capenna at the end? I mean, same thing can happen. They'll get thrown into different planes. I don't know. I think if they're gonna make a big hoopla about planeswalkers not having their spark, I am assuming that no planeswalkers for a while are gonna be actual planeswalkers.
But Will's a planeswalker. Rowan is a planeswalker.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see.
Ashiok, Ajani still has his spark. Chandra still has their spark.
We'll see. We'll see about that because that means that Jace should have his spark, and I don't know if he's
Yes,
gonna have his spark because that's weird.
I don't like that.
I kind of wanted him to be a creature so that I can just do a deck with Jace.
I wanted Jace to die. I wanted Jace.
Oh no,
to die.
he's not gonna die ever. He's gonna win. He's gonna win all of it.
No.
He's like he's gonna win. It's gonna be like the end of Attack on Titan, but it's gonna be with Jace. He's gonna win. He's right. He was right all along.
Oh, all right. So next
got
up,
the
we got
Ginger
one of the
Knight.
cutest
I
cards.
love it. Love it.
One of the cutest arts ever spoiled.
Yeah, definitely. I want a commander
Great.
with that.
And then we got like the cool little promotional stuff here. But actually, we didn't get. I didn't see the picture of
Rowan.
Of Rowan.
So it says like in the what the spoiled is like Will is trying to like unite the people of Eldraine, and Rowan like through peace and unity, and Rowan's trying to do it by force, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
His name is literally like not Kenrith. I'm sorry, the other guy like something of peace.
I'm
Like,
sorry. Can you go back to the commander deck for a second? Are you telling me that we're getting even smaller
Now,
commander decks? Like commander, like the
there
boxes
you
packaging?
the packaging keeps getting smaller and smaller.
I'm okay with that though.
I am definitely okay with this because I know that it's better for the environment, but you're making it
You're
more
raising the
expensive.
prices and
Yes,
giving
you're
us
not
less stuff.
giving us less stuff. Like it's not like I wanted more card. It's not like I wanted like an oversized commander. Although I missed those, I really liked those. They were fun. But you're literally not giving me anything new, and you're raising the price. And because the whole point of them, I remember this from Strixhaven. The whole point of them changing the packaging and making it smaller and making it
Just so
with
that
like
they could cheap
specific
it out at
cardboard,
some other
it's
place.
because they could make it cheaper. They could give you two offerings. They give you like the expensive, no holds barred type of packaging, and then the simple minimalistic version would be like $10 cheaper. But now we get this even smaller packaging, and it's still more expensive. It makes no
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
I do like though the fact that the packaging is smaller and it just tells you everything you need to know on the face. I think that's pretty cool and pretty efficient. But other than that, this sucks.
It's interesting because the packaging is very reminiscent of those. Remember when they did like the straight out of the
Challenger deck?
box, the challenger decks? It looks like a challenger deck,
Yeah.
and it might actually create some confusion, maybe with like 3 people, but it might create some confusion if you're seeing it from across like the from your LGS store. If you see it like on a desk somewhere or something, if you
Yeah.
see it from afar, you're gonna think it's a challenger deck. You're not gonna think it's a commander deck because it looks so similar.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, besides that, I
Actually,
want to get the Fey one because I want to do like a little fairy deck. That'd be kind of cool.
you want to summon flocks of fairies and play tricks?
Yeah,
Actually,
I have
I
the
just
other one,
realized.
the 3-color
Hmm.
one. Yeah.
Ooh, I also realized that the tagline actually tells you what the deck does now. So if they keep doing those like that, I think it's going to be really good for like trying to attract new players to it. Because it
Agree.
just gives you a rundown of what the deck does. That's pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, because before it cool, like yeah, you had like the cool names of the decks, but a lot of times the names don't tell you much.
Mhm.
And this one, that's I don't know, just a really cool little detail. Thanks for
Yeah.
pointing that out.
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah,
your bundles.
getting
So
our-
Mhm.
Mhm.
along with Wilds of Eldraine is like the standard announcement,
Yes.
and we haven't covered that. So, standard is now with the
Ooh, hold
start
on,
of Wilds of Eldraine.
let me move this around.
Yeah. Standard is now going into a 3-year rotation format.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
I think that unless they do something else besides extending standard, I see no point in this. I think the problem is that standard is very prohibitively expensive. I remember Saffron Olive did like a breakdown on Twitter where he showed you a graph. I think it's on his Twitter. He shows you a graph of how the average of the standard deck was costed throughout the last 7 or 8 years, and over the last 2 or 3 years it's been like 300 $400.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Although I agree with that take with Saffron Olive, he had a lot of bad takes because he's an online player. That's all he does.
Yeah.
So paper Magic, this is better. For online Magic, this is worse. But the fact is that it is not that much better. You still need additional things.
Mhm.
What he was calling for is like more bannings and
Mhm.
more constant bannings. Another pro player was like, okay, this is fine and all, but now all the cards need to be like power crept because when you power creep cards, then it could keep the format fresh. But what he failed to understand, because of course a pro player was like, oh yeah, the obvious answer is power creep. The obvious answer is also the opposite of power creep.
Yeah.
Just lower the power level. So fine, you'll have a higher power level for the first one rotation
Yeah.
of standard, but after that, if the power level of cards start dwindling down at least a little bit, which is what a lot of people have been suggesting, and they have been taking note, especially with a few of the cards I mentioned today,
Mhm.
on how they used to make just five color good stuff, and now they don't. They're trying to
Mhm.
make everything a bit more niche.
Yeah.
They're trying to understand that maybe not everything needs to be super high power for specific formats. So on the next rotation, so this first rotation is probably going to be horrible. It's going to be very, very bad. It's only going to get worse before it gets better, and after that, it might be very, very good for standard. But we can't really tell because you can't predict what they're going to print, what they have
Mhm.
in store. And remember that Wizards of the Coast plans these things with 2 years in advance.
Mhm.
And some of these changes might not be planned 2 years in advance, but with how they plan sets, it might correlate with how they've been trying to depower uh, like
Standard.
standard and find a balance between things. Because at one point in time, like cards like Lightning Strike were too strong for standard, two
Mhm.
mana, 3 damage. So
Yeah.
anything was too strong for standard, and then they reprinted it again, and they were like,
Mm.
okay, this is fine for standard, raising power creep. Now it's something in between, as a lot of spells that deal 3 damage are sorcery speed, but do additional things
Mhm.
to balance them out, and I feel like that's fine. And as long as they take that approach, then I feel like this will be better for the long game. As long as they keep and taking into account, they need to do bannings more consistent, more frequent, and bannings will hurt. Like
Yeah.
yes, one of the reasons they do this 3 year rotation is because as a paper player, as a paper magic, for the casual player, you can actually take the time to buy a deck
Mhm. And actually have the deck last a
for
while
last
longer.
a while, exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Does it
But
really though?
it
I mean,
does.
Because your deck is legal, but is it really playable? Exactly because of the same reason we already discussed, because of power creep.
so
As
I
long,
so they did the challenger decks as a response to people not like being prohibitively expensive, and I remember the at least some of the times the challenger decks would actually be helpful in you being able to play. But the problem with the challenger decks is that they came at a time where you could only use them for like 6 months because then it will rotate out. Now, if they implement the 3 year thing, they can have the challenger decks, for example, um, pre set up. So when it comes out, you still have at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years with that deck. Even though, like you said, the power creep is going to be like pretty awful for the time being, because I'm pretty sure this was like
Mhm.
a announcement they did for now. Um, but I think in the long run, at least your cards will retain value unless they get outright banned. And theoretically, this is all theoretical, your deck, your I don't know, white weenie deck will last longer in the format because of it. But I understand what you mean. My issue with it,
Yeah, it's just that the thing
yeah.
is, every time a new set is, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like
Go ahead.
every time a new set comes out, the decks that are being played in the meta like have changed completely. At least like the top decks, which it's kind of meant to do that. But that's exactly what I mean. Like, is extending the longevity of like the legality of a deck essentially really going to change the format that much if they're still keeping the other things the same? Of course, Wizards of the Coast has alluded that they're going to keep making more changes to the format to try and revitalize or fix standard.
Mhm.
But like I don't think that that like the 3 year thing is just obviously not a solution that stands along on its own. And again, there has to be like some really really like drastic changes in how Wizards is printing cards for those,
Mhm.
a card from almost a year back, not a card, but like a deck in itself that was relevant a year back to be relevant even the next year, or to at least stays relevant for like about 6 months. It's not terrible. It's basically what we have, but
Uh,
that's it. That's basically what we have.
yeah, I
And
my issue.
sometimes it just doesn't even work that way. Like it just like there's some that remain constant. Like mono white and mono black have remained like pretty constant, like just kind of going up and down, especially recently. But like all the other decks that are like topping and stuff, like just really go through those drastic changes. So I don't know.
The deck's already set in stone. Like for example, the Rakdos one, the Legendary Matters deck, they just get new pieces, but they're essentially the same deck. I agree with you that
Mm.
holistically most of the decks stay the same. They just add a few new cards, but that's why these pieces kept getting more expensive, because when you realize these decks keep topping, they don't change that much. So then you get Sheoldreds going up for like 60, $70. And then they don't reprint, which is my concern. My concern is they should take if they're going to do this, they have to do the Pokemon route, where Pokemon reprints things to the ground. When they realize like a freaking EX card is super expensive, they take like 6 months and they reprint that in like a little box for $20 and you get a copy of it and then you get it out into the market. You do it out very quickly. Wizards takes
Supplementary reprint product, it would just
Yes.
be great.
Even Yu-Gi-Oh does this. Sure, Yu-Gi-Oh takes a long time to reprint their staples, but at least they do that. Magic notoriously never reprints anything because they're like, well, the set is right there. It's like, yeah, but no one's cracking that because you're releasing 7 other products in the same month. So no one's caring of buying Kamigawa or whatever, like in 2023. No one cares. Like, no one's gonna try to crack it open to get more Wanderers or something. No one's doing that. So then those cards still get expensive. Dominaria Unite, no one's cracking that to get Trioldreds because we're already on another set, you know? So they should release more supplementary reprints, supplementary product to address those very expensive cards, which they know which ones they are, because when they do the challenger decks, they are somewhat aware preemptively of what cards probably are going to raise in price. They sometimes don't get it right. They sometimes predict correctly, but sometimes they're really off the mark. But when they do, they get some of those good reprints and they reprint them to the ground. I remember when they reprinted, I think it was the first challenger deck. They reprinted the Archangel what was it? The Phoenix, Arclight Phoenix.
Okay.
Which when it came out, it was $3. Then it rose to like 25, and then they did their challenger deck with the knowledge it was still going to be like very cheap, or they thought it was going to be like a key card, and they actually guessed correctly, and it helped drive down the cost of that card. But that's the only time we have that. Yeah.
Before challenger decks, back in Shadows over Innistrad, that a card was like, oh yeah, it's in the blue-green land deck. They're like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's just a card. It doesn't. It's like the face. One of the face cards. One of the cards in there, and they notoriously put those those decks or like starter intro decks were notoriously bad in terms of value, but very good in terms of mechanics for starting players. Yeah, that had a tireless tracker.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that card, like the whole deck, was worth like $24, but that one card was worth like $17 at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, those things are good. They help. But the problem is, since they plan everything so far in advance, they can't take into account those things. They can kind of predict, but they can take that into account. I don't know. Like, I like the idea of the 3-year thing in terms of for paper players, which I know that's what they're aiming for. They want your cards to have value for a prolonged period of time, longer than it usually is, because as it stands, the only cards that have value are the ones that are useful in Commander as well, like legendary creatures generally, or big splashy spells. Most of the other cards aren't that expensive. So it's good for the paper player who has a collection, who has a deck, and they can just add pieces to it or whatever, unless they ban like a few cards from their deck and they get screwed. But generally, they're going to get their value for longer. And it's good because, you'll get LGSs to be able to try to do tournaments and stuff, but they need better support too, better price support, better incentives for people to actually go back to LGSs, which I know they've been struggling. If I'm being very pessimistic about all this, I really think that the reason why they're doing the 3-year standard cycle is because Hasbro told them that they need to keep selling product. And since they've been releasing so much product, people forget about the sets from last year, and they need a justification for those cards to still be existing for a while longer, so they can keep selling those older sets that probably no one's buying freaking Crimson Bow. We know this because last Black Friday, those things were like $60 a piece, like the whole, like the booster box. So we know no one's buying those, and they're selling them at a loss, and they still want to keep selling them because they probably overprinted a lot. So if I'm being like cynical and shit, I think it's because Hasbro told them to extend the standard cycle so they can sell those old booster boxes they haven't been able to sell. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking of is that I think one strategy that would be interesting to see for standard is controlling your power creep in a way in which, like, just do a cycle every 3 years, in which the first year it's going to be low powered standard, like you just kind of reset everything and just have a year of low power. have like, you know, the second year be like, you know, just start creeping up and whatever, and then just have like your third year like, oh, like standard, it's at its height like power wise, and then just drop it all again for the next cycle. I think that would be a really cool way to try and plan it out and go about it, because it gives you different flavors of standard without kind of directly, like, I don't know, messing with like with having to take into account a lot of stuff when it comes to what's it called, um
Mhm.
like without having to constantly like rely on like, oh, power creep, power creep, power creep, power creep, like the
Yeah.
entire way.
Yeah.
That way you can just kind of like, and you know, I really miss the days in which, and this is just like a personal thing, I don't think it's like an optimizational thing, but like, or optimization thing, um I don't know, I just kind of miss the days in which they would print out a magic set and then everyone would just like look at some legendaries or whatever, and some of the stuff was useful for commander because it was an official format,
Mm.
but the set didn't feel like built around it, you know, or like, I don't know, with Aftermath you could just literally tell us it's a commander product. I think it just goes down easier for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just miss how like the old, like I miss the old Wizards. I miss how the old Wizards felt when they tried to ignore Commander, and it was just like
Yeah.
it,
Now they're
it
too
felt,
aware. They're way too aware now.
Like
yeah,
a few cards for commander. Like here, sprinkle is like, yeah, we know you exist. Here you go. 5 out of like 350 cards are like for the commander.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nowadays, it's like everything. It's just so obvious now. It's so obvious. Yeah.
I mean, it's just obvious that Commander is the format that's being played the most everywhere.
And they're really
Like,
trying to course correct, but it's becoming so hard for them to do so.
yeah. I feel like it was just kind of one of those situations in which they're like, oh yeah, look, we have like this whole new like money thing, and then they realize that it changed the game forever.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
Just to go through some of the stuff real quick, especially for our listeners, here are the points, the like the big bold points that Wizards wants to make with the 3-year change. Just to, you know, go like exactly on them, which is first one is this will give current standard cards more longevity. Essentially it's just like having, like, you know, people tell them, oh, that they like stuff rotates out, we can't keep playing with it, and then this way we get to keep stuff around longer. Second point, which I kind of like am like kind of agreeing on, it will allow mechanics and archetypes to be more efficiently built on over time. They mentioned that as they moved away from the block model, we gained a lot of flexibility, but also lost lost some of the ability to build around mechanics and themes within a set. This is something that we've talked about in the podcast a bunch.
Yeah.
Just talking about how, like, you know, it doesn't give you like too much space to work with when you only have like one set in each plane just going in one after the other.
Mhm.
So if they are in fact like planning, like let's say in these next 2 years that they have planned out, they're planning to just kind of like try to mix some set mechanics here and there or just have more stuff for it, I think it works out well. The thing that just comes to mind because of how Wizards is releasing product now, at least, is that you don't see them building on mechanics that way for standard, really.
Yeah.
This just feels like you're building on for commander players. This doesn't feel like a standard thing because of how they're like releasing sets. I don't necessarily enjoy the idea that this could also mean that for story purposes, they're going to be going back to like planes constantly.
Mhm.
Like the nostalgia train like is fine and all, but what if instead having to go back multiple times to a set, you could just do, you know, like a block model, like 3 sets in the one plane, and that way you don't have to be all over the place. That's how I see it. But like that, it also says it gives us stronger tools to create an environment where decks are more colors and like have more mechanics. It uses white green toxic or blue white soldiers as an example, and it says what, less more colors and mechanic and less mid range.
It's just less good stuff.
Exactly.
The
Yeah,
same thing I've been saying is like, yeah, that's just something they've been trying to do, and I've noticed.
Mhm.
which is good because it was the opposite a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like very very noticeable.
All right. I think that's all I have to say, at least on this one. I don't know if you guys want to cover anything else on the matter of the revitalization plan that Wizards has for Standard.
I know it's not like popular, but if they're gonna do this, they should also do core sets again. I don't know if they're gonna do core
Yes,
sets again, but they
yes, that's
should.
that's something. Yeah, because you reprint effective answers that standard needs. You
Yeah.
reprint effective cards that standard needs, and also a lot of a lot of my favorite sets have been core sets because core sets are just the basic core of Magic,
Mhm.
and they're good introductories for new players. In addition to being just good, like
Mhm.
they don't. The problem with core sets is that they don't sell well.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only big problem with that.
Mhm.
But for the health of the game, they're very good.
But wait, they could just do a type of new approach to core sets where they can just print like the necessary stuff like negates and shit like that, but they can also reprint stuff that comes into like a throne, like the new Eldraine set, like a very expensive mythic that they
They could
know it's
just
going to be
put
really good.
good chase
I
cards,
And just
I
reprint
have
again.
no.
Re-
I have a very interesting
like the
idea.
list and like chase card reprints,
No, no.
like
Sure.
excellent.
Mm,
Have it be like a Crimson Vow aftermath set.
mm,
So basically, is like okay, we have Wilds of Eldraine, then we have Ixalan, then we have another set, and now this third set, this fourth set, that's like we have three different planes, and now this fourth set is like a. So what happened after the after the fact? So like continuation of lore,
mhm,
but with that continuation of lore, you have an actual like okay, this is it's like a lot of reprints, so it's
mm,
like aftermath in terms of lore, but it's reprints
Mhm.
for things that are necessary for reprinting,
yeah,
and there's new printings for things that are need to be answered for standard. And I feel like that's like a great way to kill two birds with one stone. You get your
Agreed.
you get your aftermath, quote unquote. You get a closure to the story of what happens afterwards, so you don't have to revisit the set over and over and over. It's like the plane over and
Mhm.
over and over again. You can just kind of you know revisit a few because to be honest, I have a lot of people who say they love Eldraine
yeah,
as a
Yeah.
set because high fantasy and fairy tales is very very fun.
yeah.
But like I don't like other than long term Magic players and dinosaur fans, I don't see the same sentiment for like Ixalan.
Mhm.
Ixalan is like oh dinosaurs, but
Love Ixalan.
like yes I know, but dinosaurs,
Yeah.
but
I
like
know.
but 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 there's vampires, there's humans, there's merfolk.
Yo, hold on, real quick thingamabob. When is Eldraine releasing? Is that in August?
Yeah, August.
September.
But August is the when they spoil the set, right?
August 15th, they start
Mhm.
the debut.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. It coincides with the release of Lorcana, actually.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
really interesting. I mean, they're not like exactly on the dot, but the dates are pretty similar because the first chapter of the
Mhm.
set releases August 18 in specialty hobby stores, and then on September 1st, it'll be available for mass market retail.
Maybe it's on purpose
So
then.
that's
I mean, we're
it
being
would be
honest.
interesting if it was like I honestly
No.
Be interesting if
you think that Hasbro and
Magic
Wizards had that kind of insight considering how they've been like acting a fool these past few?
Yeah, yeah.
piggybacking of hey, we have a card game that also is doing high fantasy. It's like
Mhm.
oh, let's see what's this is well.
Yeah. I want to play Lorcana, if I'm being honest. I kind of want to try
Yes,
that.
definitely. No,
Wanna
like
try it out.
we are going to try Lorcana on
Yeah,
this
for sure.
podcast, and
For
it's
sure.
going to be a learning experience. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
But yeah. We're just missing the Lord of the Rings thing then, right?
Actually,
Not
no.
really, because the problem is that the cards that were spoiled and like the other than the set mechanic, at least I can't find a proper link for it. All I know for that specific thing is like the little halfling, the 1 mana halfling,
Mhm.
and the
Yes.
mechanic of the ring.
That's what I wanted to talk about, the mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get to the mechanic in a second, because I was since we're talking about like cardboard and cardboard spoilers, I thought we could continue on with the other things we got lined up and just kind of leave the mechanic for a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because the other thing that JP brought up that I completely forgot like what it even was the secret layer commander deck
Right.
from cute to brute.
That no one's gonna be able to get. Just telling you outright, no one's gonna get it. No one's gonna be able to get
You
it
think so? I
because it's
mean, it
limited.
looks
It's a
so
limited
pretty.
amount. Like it's a limited amount of product. It's not
Right.
print to
Hold on,
demand.
let me go ahead and
And
I
they did
forgot how to
this.
do the thing.
So they did this because they were talking about the last time when they did the heads or tails, it took like 7,000 years to get out. So they preemptively printed them out already in order for them to not have to deal with the fact that yeah, it's gonna pretty much gonna sell out very quickly. I think. Is it already available? Wait, then I lied. Okay, I know. Is it available now?
Says shipping it begins May 10th. I think it is. I don't know. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, you can't buy it. Okay, cool. Then
We just refreshed just in case. Yeah,
okay,
it's still there.
okay, you can buy it. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was gonna get sold out very quickly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a.
real tempted to just go to my cart right now,
I
guys.
mean,
I don't know.
it has value to be fair. Like, I think Saffron Olive kind of like broke it down. I don't remember who was it. I think it was Saffron. He, yeah, it has like 300 plus in terms of value. So it has its value. It's totally worth it.
I mean, but do we have the full deck list already? Hold on.
You have to go to MTG Goldfish probably, or
We
unless
do.
the page has it. Oh, there we go. The page
Yeah,
has it. Great.
yeah.
Good.
The complete 100 card commander deck ready to
Awesome.
rumble. So we got Archangel Avacyn. We all know her. She flips. She does the thing, and she's very scary. Got Bloodline Keeper, great for your vampire decks. Asika, God of the Tree, which should probably be the commander of the deck.
I'm pretty sure it's
it will be.
Yeah, and then you got Nicole Bolas the Ravager. I just enjoy it. It's the only Nicole Bolas Planeswalker card I have, or card actually, that I have not gotten my hands on, and it's just makes this all. It almost makes it worth buying just because I want the Nicole Bolas. Westvale Abbey, I absolutely adore. The Westvale, I don't know. Wait, they got the flip side here. Like it's all sunny. It's the little Westvale Abbey. Yes, yes, and the demon, the profane prince.
Beautiful.
It's just I really do enjoy it. Actually, let me flip
Yeah.
these over just so people can get a good look at these. Got
Yeah.
Nicole Bolas and like this just like absolute metal style, just looking at you, being not
It
even
definitely
looking
looks
at you,
very
just
heavy
here.
metal. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's where like Asika like just communicates exactly what she wants to do with the
Mhm.
backside of her card. Is I want to have Nicole Bolas, a pissed off Avacyn, an Ormondal, and a Lord of Lineage on the battlefield to absolutely wreck you as soon
Yep.
as like I start going off. And then Avacyn the Purifier probably being, if not my favorite, at least my second favorite art behind Lord of Lineage. Like they both look freaking amazing.
Yeah. The idea behind this is kind of cool. I like the idea. It's pretty cool.
All right, so what else? We got more. Like these are just the same things we just saw, and it didn't give. Here it
There's
is.
your
All right,
list.
so we got Asika, we got the Bloodline Keeper, we got Nicole Bolas, we got Kithian,
Yeah.
Hero of Akros. I like that we're getting these reprinted shortly after, like, well, War of the Spark. I mean, not War of the Spark, freaking
March of the
Aftermath.
Machines. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that we're getting these like right after Aftermath. That's really
Mhm.
cool. We got Cosima, Jason's Prodigy, we got Liliana, we got Valky, ooh, we got Voldaren Pariah, we got Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh, Cold Fury, we got Nissa, Vastwood Seer, Denick, Pious Apprentice, Ludovic, Necrogenius, Mila, Crafty Companion, Plarg, Shale, Dean of Radiance, Valentin, Dean of the Vein, Sisse, Zetalpa, Phoenix of the
Satalpa.
Second Sun.
I love
Satalpa.
this thing. This has been printed every single year.
Correct. It's the new Carnage Tyrant, bro. Not Carnage Tyrant. What is it called? Oh,
Yeah,
the Dreadmaw. It's the new
the Dreadmaw.
Dreadmaw.
Yeah, it's a Dreadmaw.
It's the new
Man,
Colossal
I can't
Dreadmaw.
believe it. It's here again.
It's y'all know, boys. Zatalpa is just a power crept Dreadmaw. It's confirmed.
I don't understand it. It's
Oh
insane.
man,
Oh,
we
that's a
got
good
the Sphinx
reprint.
of the Second Sun. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good reprint here, especially
Yeah.
like just like the kind of deck it is.
Mhm.
Beast Whisperer, excellent to put in there. Like it's not like an amazing reprint or anything. It's just a really good card though. If you're playing green and you don't already know about this, you should. Jor-El, interesting. That's like a filler card, if I'm
I
in my
think
opinion.
it's because it's legendary. Yeah, it's filler for sure. It's
Yeah.
just because it's legendary.
And Mara, Soul of the Accord, just another
Same.
filler card, unless you
Yeah.
have like tap effects.
Kinnan though.
Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. Kinnan is just
Yeah.
great in anything you put him. If you can run Kinnan, you're gonna run rocks. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
Triplicate Titan. This is new to me.
That is the new fixed version of Worldcoin Engine. They don't want to reprint Worldcoin Engine in a deck, so you do Triplicate Titan, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, just literally the same thing for a higher mana cost because it just splits itself into 3, which isn't terrible, I guess. But
Exactly, but it doesn't have that touch. So.
yeah, it sucks.
Yep.
Bad card.
Mhm.
Diluvian Primordial, just because it looks cool. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah.
Butcher of Malakir, again, just because it looks cool, but it's like it gets reprinted and everything, like Loki.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyler, hey, there you go, Tyler's Provisioner.
And value. So
You got
Riz.
Reese.
you got like a little token
Cheap
strategy happening too in the deck.
I
Yeah,
kind of
because-
see it, but there's like
yeah.
3 cards that make tokens.
So Amara,
Well, we haven't seen the other ones
Jor-El,
though, like
yeah.
the
But
instances.
generally, there's a little bit. Yeah.
We got our Meteor Golem over here and our Sandstorm Oracle.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip the lands for now, and then we got enchantments. We got a Legion's Landing, also because it's legendary.
And tokens.
Search for Escanta, Hadana's Climb,
Mhm.
Journey to Eternity, Guardian Project. Note how they didn't reprint. Like it would have been fun to just see the whole cycle of the like monocoloreds, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though I'm glad they didn't go that way because I also feel like Argyll's Bloodfast is kind of meh.
You only
kinda
reprinted
bad.
the ones that mattered. So it's
Yeah,
the white
They
and the
didn't
blue one.
reprint. They didn't reprint the green one though.
True, the green one is really good. That's
Like
true,
it's
they
really
missed out
good,
on
and I
that
think
one.
it's the most expensive one of the 3. So again,
Yep.
it's not like they're not conscious of what they're printing.
Oh yeah, they are very conscious. Yeah.
Undo Inversion, which I think is always a pretty good card to run in this kind of deck. Balaged Recovery, Urza's Ruinous Blast. I love that they're running something that has synergy with the rest of it. That's freaking great. Time Wipe, Farseek, Harmonize. I think that's like the worst card I've seen so far, and it's not even like terrible. Agra Mauling, Valakut Awakening, Utter End, Pungify. Ooh, that's funny. That's kind of funny that it's in there. I like that. That's actually like pretty efficient removal.
Yeah.
They got Beast Within, Destroy Target Permanent. Like this is actually not a bad deck list. Like
There's some.
you just put rocks in it, and it does some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, either ramp or rocks. Yeah.
You only got 2 like natural planeswalkers. The rest are flip walkers. One of them is Arlen Cord. Definitely there just to kind of
Fill out
mix
the
and
flipping
filler.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Though, you know what? I'll give her the flip side. If you can transform her and then just like get the +1 on the other end, like that actually isn't bad. It's a potential finisher. So you know what? Whatever. It's not bad.
The other flip one.
Garruk Relentless. I love this one because it's the flip walker in which you get to see how Garruk was transformed by the Curse of the Chain Veil. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that it's in there. It kind of, you know what? Again, this feels like something that they should have released during their grand like 30th anniversary. Like this is the kind of product that would have been like great to see.
Yeah.
Just have that entire month be dedicated to this kind of stuff. That would have been great because here you get a bunch of like old staples. You get a bunch of really cool cards that like talk to you about like the story, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. What else? Azer's Gateway, Dowsing Dagger. We got a Thaumatic Compass to look for lands and do the maze effect. Treasure Map, Elbrus the Blinding Grid. That one's just there to fill out space. Altars. Altar isn't terrible. I don't
I mean,
love the altar.
no. At least he has chromatic lantern at the very least. So
Yeah, so that's
thank
pretty
God.
good.
Yeah, thank God.
As always, your arcane signet, your commander's fear, your fell warstone, and your
Yeah.
soul ring. We got Westvale Abbey. I'm
We got all the
expecting
flip
Oh,
all the flip
I
lands
was
are there.
I was expecting a bunch of tap lands. This is not bad.
Well, they're gonna be tap lands regardless, but yes, at least all the flip lands
No,
are
no,
there.
but these don't. These well, oh wait, I see what you mean now. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, down you're gonna see a lot of tap lands,
Yeah.
but but it's still cool.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This guy. Yep.
Yeah.
The world tree is like the best tap land in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
They should have given
cannot-
you the triomes. I don't know why they didn't give you triomes.
Hell yeah. This.
Yeah, they should
should
give you
but probably
triumphs.
because of the cost, I guess. It's
Uh,
the only good reason I can possibly think of.
yeah, because they gave you
Especially
those.
because they gave you these. That's
Exactly.
what's frustrating.
I
Like it's
know.
a secret layer product, man.
Yeah. Might as well.
I'm sorry, you can stick a mana crypt in a secret layer. Just saying.
Yep. Agree.
Select for non-foil cards. Finally, there are 15 non-foil double-face tokens, which also feature the Planeswalker symbol in the
Sure, they're
lower
just
left
a bunch-
corner.
Just a bunch of tokens. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of token cards.
Yep.
But I like that. I like that they're flip tokens. I like that it's all very on theme. Oh, it has the emblems on there. Hey, that's pretty cool.
I should, at the very least. Yeah. There you go.
That is pretty cool.
So it goes on sale May 8th, so it already went on sale, and it hasn't sold out, surprisingly. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure no one knows that it came out, to be honest, because it was announced like on a Magic Con, I believe, over the weekend. So I only heard about it because I saw it on Twitter, because if not, I wouldn't even known that it came out. So I'm surprised it's still available. So if you're interested, go ahead. The value is there. The value is definitely there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Real quick question, guys. Did we already talk about the super drop? Not like tonight, but have we already like been over the super drop like recently?
We have not.
We have not.
All right, then I say that's a wonderful segue onto the secret layer official super drop. Let's go over there real quick. Anything else you guys might want to mention about the wonderful secret layer precon we're getting?
Not much. The thing being, I think I have to go.
That is all good, my guy. You do whatever
Yeah.
you got to do.
Yes.
It's been good.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, guys. After that, it's just the secret layer super drop. I'm sure the only important card is Thassa's Oracle. It's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
That's about it. I'm pretty sure Thassa's Oracle was going for like $40.
Mm-hmm.
Just the foil one, like the normal or the foil, not the foil one. It was in something insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At least value wise, I think that's most of what we can talk about in the super drops. I mean, each one of the super drops has a little bit of value sprinkled on it.
Yes,
That's about it.
a lot of it. But yeah, that'll be all. See you guys.
See you, my dude.
See my
Awesome having you tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm surprised
Go
it's
ahead.
still going up. Like it's still on sale, 46 days. Yeah, I forget they leave this up for like 2 months now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you want to do? You want to go through all these individually, or are there any that you kind of like stand out to you?
We can skim over them, yeah. Just
Alright.
put like one of the bundles or something that has all the cards so we could just
Yeah.
go over them.
Oh wait, I thought I was just gonna go like kind of like into each of the bundles.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
We got here. Look,
Go ahead.
we got us the March of the Machine bundle,
Mhm.
which is basically the 3 different March of the Machine inspired like stuff that we're getting,
Yeah.
like the 3 drops.
Mhm.
So one of them, oh man, this thing is really gonna make me. Here we go. So one of the first bundle would be the one that has like a Wheel and Deal, Questing Beast, Olivia Voldarin, Walking Ballista, and the World Tree. All of them in each of their
Respective.
relevant,
Yeah.
like their respective alternate arts, which I
Mhm.
think is really cool, especially in the case of Walking Ballista, since we never got a masterpiece Walking Ballista.
Yep.
I think it's freaking excellent. The World Tree looks nuts. It looks
Mhm.
ridiculous in that art. You got Olivia Valderin, the questing beast with the three little heads, just looking like a good little old like tapestry puppy.
Mhm.
And then we got over here, the only thing that's relevant about this drop would probably be Nezahal and maybe the Dragon Lord.
But Nessa Hall isn't like it's like an uncommon, right? Can't be that expensive. Is it expensive? I mean, it's
No,
a
I'm
great.
I'm not even talking about like value wise.
Oh,
I don't see any
reprint wise,
money
no,
value
true.
here. I don't see much.
No,
I
that's
don't
true.
like
In terms of
Nezahal
yeah, in
maybe.
terms of reprints, yeah, no, the Nessa Hall
Uh,
looks really awesome. Definitely.
Igore, if he doesn't have another printing, because he's like a cool like
Yeah, it's like an
ninja
old. I think that's the
commander.
expensive one actually out of the
Yeah, like
bunch.
that. Isn't that like the OG like ninjutsu like commander?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so we got that. Zancha's a cool stuff that's in there. And then we got over here. This one is my favorite one art wise, and and because it runs three of like my favorite cards to like run in Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Nyx Bloom Ancient. I had this like a copy of this card for like a week, and then I just got rid of it. But it's just tripling your mana just does
Yeah.
something to you that just like if you can run it, why
Mhm.
not?
In terms of the value, this one has, I think, the most value, and it has the
Definitely
most interesting cards too.
correct. Like
Mhm.
Misdirection is just like
Yes.
a line of text short of a force of will.
Mm-hmm.
Udvara Hellkite is just an iconic dragon. Like it was in so many dragon decks. It comes in every time there's like a chance to have a commander deck with dragons in it. If you don't have an Udvara Hellkite in it, like what are you doing?
Yep.
Kogla the Titan Ape, really good card. It actually has like some combos here and there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool card because we all know it resembles King Kong. Like that's really cool, pretty sick. We already talked about this buddy, and finally, my one of my favorites, one of my babies, Joyra, the Weatherlight Captain.
I like the
And
art.
yes,
It plays with the steel frame, like the stained glass aesthetic.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it does. And I actually like the way that her arm just kind of like wraps around that frame there because
That's the thing that I love the most. Exactly.
oh
Yeah, it's really
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think that's it for that super drop. That's the three secret layers that are coming up with the mom theme.
Yeah.
Mom theme. That's March Myth History. We got another artist series.
Yep. Got a bunch of them this time around.
Elena Donner. I actually do not like know exactly who this artist is, but I'm looking at her work right now, and that work looks freaking amazing.
If you see, it's like a two. Each of the two cards are like a full piece.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That is
Because
really
you have
cool.
the foil version. I'm checking it in my own. You have to check the non-foil version so you see it. You see the art.
Okay.
Both of them are in like space, and the other two
Yeah.
cards, since I think they're lands, they complement each other.
Yeah, here's the full image of the lands together.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is pretty freaking cool. I like that this one is bringing in Linvala.
Yeah.
Sunblast Angel, I think, is just iconic because we've all like older Magic players might have seen Sunblast Angel a lot.
Yep.
But what is it doing here?
How it is.
We should have at least gotten like another legendary angel or something.
I feel like one of these artists should say on Twitter if they get to choose the cards, or if like Wizards gives you like a couple of cards they can choose from, and they need to choose from that, like a limited amount, like a smaller pool, or they can choose whatever the hell they want. Because I would love to see one of these artists be like, well, I just want like Force of Will, Mana Drain, Force of Negation, and Counterspell. And Wizard be like, no, you can't. That'd be amazing.
Oh man. But at least here though, I do like that this is one of the secret layers that I think has a more coherent theme and compared to a lot of the others.
That is true. Yeah.
Especially the one that we just saw, like Aftermath. Aftermath is kind of like not even meant to have a theme. I kind of get that, but this one is just really coherent. And then all of the cards they have like the panorama thing going on. I don't know. I feel like we should get more secret layers like that. Like if you're gonna make a secret layer that's just gonna be some plain old cards and it's not gonna have like that much value, at least aim to make it as pretty and coherent as possible.
Yeah.
Then
Then we got Artist
Randy
series
Vargas.
Randy Vargas.
With an absolutely excellent wiener savior. I mean, selfless savior.
Yep.
It's just excellent. The Grand
Umezawa's
Abolisher.
GT too looks pretty cool.
Yes, I'm not even sure if that's meant to be Umezawa that's using it in the back, but that's really cool.
Yeah,
Just really cool art.
like the blue.
The Grand Abolisher to me looks. It looks like it's there to do exactly what it says. You know.
Yep.
Like it's there to stop you
Yep.
dead. What you gonna do during my turn? What you said?
Nothing.
Akroma looks absolutely sick. There's like, if I'm not mistaken, Umezawa's GT was like used for something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it used to be very good and very sought after. Not anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, like back like like it used to be like an old commander staple almost. No, not staple, but like an old commander card that people just loved using.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
At least here you're getting pretty good value with Grand Abolisher. Like, you know, you're looking at like a non-foil Grand Abolisher for like what, $20 still?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I feel like there's like some value here. It's just one Grand Abolisher, 3 garbage cards, but at least Selfless Savior is not only cute but is really useful.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll give him that. Next up we got Rebecca Guay. Let me actually
Oh
go
yeah,
unfoil
Rebecca
her.
Way. Now this one's very
Guay.
interesting.
And I'm sorry for butchering your last name, Rebecca. I messed
Rebecca
up.
Guay, yeah.
And I am digging the living hell out of her. I actually hadn't seen this one. Hadn't seen.
I love Rebecca Guay.
art.
It is one of my favorite artists of all time. And I love the muddle and the mixture. Like muddle and mixture, Rebecca Guay clearly was like, I am doing whatever the fuck I want, and you're gonna have to say yes because I'm Rebecca Guay and I get to do whatever the hell I want. So that's why I love that muddle and the mixture, man. Like it's so out there. It's great.
It looks like an unset card.
Yes.
Like just like the little like text bubble and stuff gives it like the unset card vibe.
Even the flavor text, whatever you desire to muddle or mix, I'm your fix. It's what the hell? It's great. Love it. I love it.
Oh man.
The value isn't here except for Stoneforge Mystic, but it's yeah.
Again, I feel like aside from the muddle the mixture, I feel this is actually pretty coherent. Like Cleansing Nova, you got Sarah the Benevolent. I wish there was an angel instead of the Stoneforge Mystic, but you know what? Nah, it's fine. Let's not build it all around Sarah. It just the art looks real sick though.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. I just noticed the Stoneforge Mystic has 4 arms.
Yep.
That is sick.
You gotta put the enchantments. I mean the equipment somewhere. So
yeah. All right. So next up, we got Nature is Adorable.
It sure is.
Nature do be adorable, but these cards make it even more adorable.
Yep.
We got a Nature's Will, and we got a Jiraga Tree Speaker, and we got the Ulvenwald Tracker, which I don't even know if I should like call it underrated, but I feel like less people are running this card than they should. If you're running anything that's like stompy enough, this is insane. And Yeva Nature's Herald. I think the theme on here is absolutely excellent. There's just not a lot of value here, if any.
Yeah, not
There's
really.
Basic like this is not a $30 secret layer.
Nope.
Wizard says it's a $40 secret layer, but this is like literally a $4 secret layer.
Yep.
I hit the foil on the blue. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't resist. It's blue. I gotta hit the foil button.
Yep.
And we got. Well, you take this one, my dude.
I mean, we got Lawan, Cephalus Empress, Master of Waves, Tasa Deep Dwelling, which is the newest Tasa, and Tasa's Oracle. The reason why this is gonna sell out, not sell out, but people are gonna buy a bunch of these is because of that Tasa's Oracle for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's just start by the fact that the Thassa's Oracle just looks. So
stunning!
Good. It looks insane.
Stunning. Yeah. Definitely. I love it. Yeah. But yeah,
like
it's very good.
I find it funny because to me it has the best looking art from the secret layer, and it's also like the card with the most value in the secret layer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for the super drop. Real quick, let's just go over the quickest chunk over here, which is actually the other little thing that got that got I don't even want to say spoiled, but like that got teased
Yep.
was the Doctor Who commander decks that are going to
Mhm.
be coming out. So there you go. We got like the real quick promo. You got your universes beyond. You got is that the 11th Doctor? No, it's 10th Doctor if I'm not mistaken. Oops, if I messed that up, please correct me in the comments. One of them is going to be Timey Wimey. I wish John was here because he would get the frickin' reference.
Yeah,
I
he
know
probably
it's
would.
supposed to be wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. I think it is, and
Okay.
I don't know. I would have loved to get a little bit of insight on that. Again, if anyone in the comments knows, please let me know because it just sounds fun. It's in Jeskai colors. So if we're looking at doing some time warping today, the Wizards may or may not have my money on that one.
It says 50 new cards with Doctor Who themed art and mechanics. So that's kind of insane. Every single one of them gets 50 new cards. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing they did for the Warhammer commanders, no?
Well, but Warhammer, it was reskin cards. It wasn't like new, unless they're playing with the wording in the same way, where it's gonna be like cards that we have, like Magic cards that exist in real world, but they're just gonna be flavored for Doctor Who. I don't know how they're gonna approach it because this is Universes Beyond. Well, the same way it was like for Warhammer, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. We
Well,
would
I
need to
mean,
check.
they're saying 50 new cards. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, if I think I'm missing like a few cards short, but I do have most of the Warhammer Commander there. I'm pretty sure I could count it out. It's about 50 new cards. Like, there's going to be 50 new like Doctor Who like themed cards, and then the
Yeah.
rest are going to be reprints with the Doctor Who theme.
Flavor, yeah. Okay, yeah. Then yeah, seems
So
on brand then.
realistically though, we're getting
Around 200
50 new
cards.
cards, and then no, we're getting 50 new cards, and then it would be 200 new cards total. But then if you include lands, you're only getting 10 reprints? Or is my math off?
It depends on how they do. Yeah, true, because it's
Because
usually
if you go,
30. Yeah, so it'd be like 15 to 20 reprints roughly.
because
Yeah.
it would be at least 35 lands. Like, I don't think they're going to
Yeah.
go below
Yeah,
35.
that's true. They don't go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's true.
And it's
So
probably going to be closer to 37 or 40 anyways.
yeah, so it'd be like 10 to 15 reprints. Yeah, and you would just be the basic stuff like mana rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, Force of Will, not Force of Will.
Oh
my
yeah, for
bad.
sure. No.
Sure,
You know what?
yeah.
Yes,
No.
yes. Let's make it happen.
I hope
Let's do
so.
it.
Yes.
I pray.
I want to see a Force of Will in each and every single one of those decks.
Yes, that's true.
No, but I was referring to Swords to Plowshares and that kind of stuff.
I can see a time warp in one of these decks. If we're being
Honestly, if Timey Wimey doesn't have a time warp, I'm gonna
Right?
have such an issue.
Thank you. I agree.
Like, I need I need that, and I also need a Rocky Horror Picture Show Secret Lair where we can all just do the time warp again.
Yes, all the time. Oh
that'd be
yeah,
sick.
that'd be great.
All right, so just to go over these real quick, we got in Timey Wimey, we're gonna get Doctors 9, 10, and 11. I'm not too familiar with Doctor Who, so I don't know how they really fit into like the Jeskai colors. So that'll be interesting to see how, if it's gonna be like I don't know who the face commander is as of yet, but like if it's gonna be like one of the Doctors and then the other two are gonna have like separate colors, or are they also going to be Jeskai?
Yeah.
Like just something fun to kind of think about. Masters of Evil just pretty much speaks for itself. It has all the villains that Doctor Who has ever had.
Yep.
Well, maybe not ever had, but at least the more like iconic or important ones. And then you got Doctor Who Blast from the Past. You got the first 8 Doctors all in their own commander deck, which again I'm really happy that it feels complete in the sense that you're getting all of them. Like, for example, in Warhammer, each of the decks, I think it was really good and characteristic that each of the decks were their own separate faction, because that's just the type of good old fantasy racism that Warhammer is all about.
Yeah.
Kids, remember, it's only fine if it's fantasy.
True.
And I think I think it's really cool because we didn't get all the factions because it's nearly impossible to. It's not impossible, but it would have been really difficult to, make more than just 4 commander decks. It would have to been like, a commander deck for each faction would have been insane.
Yep.
So yeah, I just like that sense of completion that we're getting here. because also at the end, we get the 12th and 13 doctors. So really cool stuff. The thing that I like about the last one, Paradox Power, is that they just like left like a little corner for like the two female doctors.
Mhm.
Like they get their own thing. I really would hope that it would be like a like just like a really like female focused like art style, like the not just the art style but like the art, like all just having like female figures in it. That would be sick.
Yeah.
That's at least in my very humble opinion.
Mhm.
I think that like just cool stuff. Anything you want to say? Aaron?
I'm not the biggest Doctor Who fan. I've only seen literally one episode that a friend of mine showed me when I was like in university. It was a cool episode. I don't remember which Doctor it was. I just remember it was a cool episode. But yeah, I it's not my thing. But I'm pretty sure if I see broken blue cards or broken artifacts, be sure that I'm gonna buy it, because even though I'm not a fan of Warhammer, I bought one of the decks too because it had a bunch of really cool artifacts that I needed. That I never actually even opened the deck, but I have it like laying around in my room. So yeah.
Necrons, you mean?
It wasn't Necrons, it was the other one. But yeah, Necrons was the other one that was missing. Was the Esper one. It had other cool artifacts there too. Yeah.
All right. So now that we're done with that, I think that we are down to our last order of business, Orengo.
Yeah.
The the thing that you called a terrible mechanic. I don't know, man. That was
horrible.
Pretty controversial thing to say.
Horrible.
Trying to say that the mechanic from the next premium set is going to be horrible. What do you mean?
I mean, it'll probably be great, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of things wrong with that mechanic. If we're being honest. Right. Yeah.
So here we got the ring. Take it away, my dude.
So first of all, it's like a weird emblem that you get. So a lot of the cards say that you'll get tempted by the ring in the Lord of the Rings set. When you get tempted by the ring, basically one of your creatures becomes the ring bearer, and it gains one of the following abilities in order. And it ascends in terms of when every time you get tempted, you get another additional effect added to your already emblem. Essentially, it's an emblem that you keep forever, never gets destroyed, which makes sense because it is the ring. It doesn't get destroyed, so it makes sense that you get these abilities and you can remove them from the player. So the first ability you get is your ring bearer is a legendary and can be blocked by creatures with greater power. Which makes sense if you have like a little weenie card or whatever, or like a little hobbit. Makes sense that you get to attack with it. Whenever
remember he makes for example, he makes Frodo invisible, and he makes a lot of like the smaller races
exactly. So it makes sense. It has like evasion because it turns invisible. So whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card, so you get some value. Whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature controller sacrifices it at the end of combat.
Pretty strong.
And pretty strong. And whenever the ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So those are basically your abilities. The thing that I don't like is it's kind of confusing because the set itself has the one ring. So you would assume that the one ring, even though it's not like an amazing artifact, it's still pretty cool, and I would like to play with that in my, like, for example, my Urza deck, because it still has inherent value. It's like basically a Teferi's protection on a stick. You do once, but whatever. It doesn't have to do.
You can keep looping it, but we can.
No, you can
for another occasion.
Exactly. Yeah, but you can just bounce it back to hand and replay it or whatever. You could do that. But it doesn't, like, when you get tempted by the ring, you don't get tempted by that ring. You get tempted by this emblem, which is okay because it's technically indestructible because the opponent can't interact with it. That's cool. But then in the flavor fail, there's no negative downside to getting tempted by the ring. And if you know, because if you've seen the movies or read the books, you know that there is negative aspects to being tempted by the ring. You just need to see Gollum to understand this. The other flavor fail that I noticed is that every player gets to be a ring bearer, and it gets to have a ring bearer. There's supposed to be one ring.
It's not like a what's it called? It's
like
not like a monarch mechanic.
Exactly. It's not like a monarch. And it's technically worse, like if we're strictly speaking in terms of mechanics, it's technically worse than the initiative because the initiative triggers every upkeep, and you will lose it unless you only lose it if the opponent hits you. But if they never hit you, you get to trigger it every upkeep. That's why the initiative is so strong. This one, even though it's an emblem that will always have all these keywords, you need a ring bearer. and if you don't have a ring bearer, you need to wait till the next time you get a creature or a whatever, a permanent that lets you get tempted by the ring in order to reignite it into a ring bearer as your creature. So there are cards in the set, and I think it was not Saffron Olive. Plus in Kenobi mentioned that there's I think it was one of the Sauron cards. The Sauron card interacts with ring bearers, but he technically never tempts. So you need something else to be able to tempt in order to trigger your Sauron abilities, because if not, Sauron literally does nothing. Because
to be fair, it's pretty accurate to how it works in the movie in that one.
True, and that is
like
fair.
Like Sauron never does the tempting. He doesn't want to give you his freaking ring, you know.
Fine, but then are we going by flavor, or are we ignoring it? Because there's stuff here with the ring itself that is not flavorful to how the ring should be functioning. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think it's a pretty good strong ability. If you get to the fourth ability, you have all these abilities on a creature, and that creature doesn't die. You keep protecting it. You get a lot of inherent value. You don't lose the emblem ever, because unlike the Monarch that you get to lose your emblem, this emblem you get to keep it forever. We'll have to see how strong it is in Standard and Legacy and Vintage. Commander
is this coming out for Standard?
Sorry, modern, Legacy, Vintage. Sorry, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. We'll have to see how strong it is. Considering the initiative and how strong the initiative has been already, it'll be interesting to see how the ring and the mechanics with the ring fare in Modern. You know, and if they become strong, if they become like a thing that becomes like broken in the format, then we'll have to consider the fact that these cards will need to have like a not universes version coming in the future, which I know they will, because they always do it. But yeah, exactly. Well, they haven't failed till now, because the last one that was missing was Walking Dead, and they did reprint that. So
yeah, but I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. We're getting like universes beyond. Like we got a whole universes beyond. We're going to get 3. Like we got 1, and we're gonna get 2 more like products, and in each of these, like, this is a whole set, and in each of the other 2 products, there's 200 new cards.
True. And
like,
the thing is,
when are we getting them reprinted in Magic?
Yeah, no, and I think about it, like, how can you reprint the ring? How can you do that into a mechanic that's like Magic centric? How can you make that make sense? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that was kind of the purpose of just naming it the ring instead of maybe going with the One Ring.
The One Ring, okay.
The ring can just sound generic. It's fine. It's like a ring of power. It can become generic. I don't think it's that much of a big deal.
Okay.
At least mechanics wise, I guess I'm saying.
But then what would they do? Would they reprint down the line this set, or do they have an exclusive contract with the token?
Either way, if you think about it, that would also imply that they would have to print the One Ring in its Magic equivalent, which I don't think it's that hard. It could be like, I don't know, like ridiculous Power Stone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to technically be the ring for the One Ring. It can just be something else. But this one, I think, because it says tempted by the ring, it has to still be the ring, because the emblem, you can't change the name of the emblem. I think. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting when they reprint, if they reprint like you said, or if they have, like I said, like an exclusivity deal with the token estate, where they can keep this set like for a longer period of time. Like, for example, with the Modern Horizon sets or whatever, you can still technically buy even to this day, even though probably they haven't kept printing them or whatever, but there's still a lot of them in the market, so technically you could still get them. So if they print this to oblivion, then perhaps it'll be good for a few years down the line until they have to inevitably reprint it. But yeah, what do you think about the mechanic?
I think it's fun. I don't think it's going to be super strong because it relies on one creature that you're going to call your ring bearer. If he loses the ring bearer property once he leaves the battlefield, it's not going to be all that relevant, because you would need to get multiple activations to really get like any like real value out of this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have to like double check and go back to the mechanic again, because I'm not sure how is it that you choose a ring bearer. If like
every time you get tempted, you get to choose to keep your ring bearer or change it every time you get tempted.
Oh, okay. Well, that's potentially interesting. If you can tempt at instant speed, which sounds hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tempt you at instant speed. If if you could tempt that instant speed, that could definitely work.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
just
can see it.
distribute the ring ability around and make sure that you always have a creature on the battlefield.
I can see it.
But unless that happens, I don't think so. Because think about it. I mean, the abilities are all like strong when you think about them, like put on a creature. But
Mhm.
what you're really getting is making any creature a Timna when you go to its second ability.
Yeah.
The first part is relevant, but honestly, like you're looking for your creature to essentially be a 1/1,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure nobody can block it. To just smack face, or even like a 0/0 with like a wall like creature, or like a not wall like creature, but with like an Arcady Saboth kind of deal,
Yeah.
where you got like a 0/0, but it smacks with 4 to your face. I think that would be like pretty cool. This is just something I would probably try to strap my commander with and try to beat your face with commander damage. Like, let me put this on Timna and make Timna even better. Like, you can't
Yeah.
block Timna unless you got a 2/2 or 1/1 to block with.
I
I
think in
swing
a
with
in a
Timna,
Voltron deck,
draw a card,
definitely.
discard a card.
Yeah, in a Voltron deck, this is basically like a very powerful equipment, you know?
Yeah, it's an equipment that isn't like directly attached to the creature, so it's
Exactly. Yes, very strong
like
in that
you,
regard.
it's an equipment you can't target.
Exactly.
That's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's about it. I mean,
Mhm.
then like the last ability, you get to drain everybody like the table for 3, which in Commander is
Yeah, it's fine.
okay.
Yeah, but it's clearly designed for Commander because it literally says each opponent. So they were thinking about that when they did this. Maybe they were a little bit too scared not to make it too powerful. But the fact that there isn't downside, I would have preferred pushing it harder if there was downside to it. Like if, I don't know, one of the abilities was like a very big downside, like I don't know, destroy it at the end of combat. I don't know.
Even losing like 1 health, like
Yeah.
each upkeep or whatever is
Hmm.
considerable. And let's say that every time, like the more the ring tempts you, the more life you lose. Ooh.
Exactly. Something like that. It would
And
be
then just make the
nice.
ability just like hella push.
Exactly. I agree. Like if they should have pushed this a bit further. I don't know if they were very scared of like making something too broken and
Well,
then
making the initiative again, yeah, I would
Mhm.
too. Like you
I would
change the
yeah.
whole format.
Yeah, you warp the whole format. That's true. Maybe they were very conscious of not trying to do it that push, trying to make it something that would be able to work in modern without being something they need to like ban in 3 months time. So yeah, it's fine.
Because I was thinking, even if you got like 4 modes there, it could be like at the beginning of each upkeep. Like in the first one, you lose 1 life, in the second
Mhm.
one, you lose 2, and the third one, you lose 3.
Yeah.
Then it becomes. I feel like it becomes a bit more relevant, and then you have to think more about, like, for example, like, oh, does my creature have lifelink, so I can
Mhm.
like mitigate the ring's like life cost essentially.
Yeah.
I think it would have made it pretty interesting to play around.
I agree. Definitely.
Well, Orengo, I think we are just about at the end. We have taken care of all the orders of business. Anything else you got in mind? Anything else that you want to tell the peoples?
Yeah, just wait for next product. Always new product all the time, perpetual hype. They don't take a break. Like Aftermath wasn't even over, but because they had to spoil the whole set, then they started spoiling other stuff because they
Yeah.
just need to spoil something all the time.
Overcorrected much? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. They were trying to make up for a lot of the mishaps of Aftermath, definitely. Yeah, I haven't bought anything in a while, to be honest. In terms of Magic product, I haven't bought anything in a while. There's a few cards that I need to buy for my decks, but yeah, I wanted to build like new commander decks, but every time I'm interested in something, they already release a new card. So then I'm like, but this one looks so much more interesting, and I forget about the commander I wanted to build. Like I wanted to make. You remember this was a few sets ago. There's this Simic commander that lets you make a copy token of a bird or a beast. It was a toy maker. I wanted to make that deck so
Thanos, the
bad.
toy maker.
Thanos. And I know Thanos even had another guy, or he had another
Mhm.
beast guy that kind of works with beast and birds too.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it because like 7 other new cards came out. I'm like, oh, that looks so interesting. I forgot about Thanos, and I couldn't even like get all the cards to try to make a cool little Simic deck. And I don't know, man, it kind of sucks because I want to make. They've released a couple of interesting commanders for me, but by the time I want to try to sit down and make it, they released 2 other ones that I kind of want to make, and then I'll be like, but then should I? How relevant is this card going to be? And it bogs down the whole experience of like trying to brew something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. Like I feel like Wizards of the Coast has become part of a toy company.
Yep.
A company that is known for making toys and games. I feel like there should be a conscious part in which you just kind of go, how long is my consumer going to be playing with my game or be playing with my toy?
Yeah.
And I feel like you can't just release cardboard at the same rate at which you would like to at the same rate at which you like essentially released action figures like way back when,
Exactly. Yeah.
because it just ends up with this. It's especially because we have Commander.
Mhm.
These cards, like, you reprint a card now and there's a possibility that we're going to be using it 10 years from now.
Yep.
And I'm not saying wait 10 years to print more cardboard. That's ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
But like, think of the health of, like, I don't know, the deck building in the game. I feel like there's also the fact that since we have the internet, there's just a lot more access to builds and everything, and people just figure out like entire sets and combine it with the past in like a matter of weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
But Magic, I feel like Magic, like Wizards has to also kind of trust in the complexity of their game.
I
It's
agree.
the world's most complex game.
Mhm.
There is rulings and interactions that we sometimes like even discover, even though they've been like right in front of us for years, because of rules changes and because of like a billion different things.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like they should trust in the complexity of their game.
Yeah. And stop printing so much stuff, but that's not gonna stop. It's gonna keep going.
But
Yeah.
yeah. On a final note, just remember, people, don't let the amount of product that Wizards releases and how beautiful all of that product looks make you forget who Wizards is and
Yes.
what they would do to you just for getting some cardboard early.
Yes. Never forget. Always buy
Never
singles.
forget.
Go to your LGS and buy singles.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we're all done for tonight. Alejandro, anything you want to say? Where can the people find you at, my dude?
You can find me here with you guys talking about Sweet Sweet Cardboard, but you can also find me in Cinema Podcast, cinemapodcast.com. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, just everywhere talking about movies and anime and all that good stuff. But can the people find you?
Well, you guys can find me here on the Cardboard Cave podcast. You can sporadically find me on my Twitch. You can find me just, if I'm not the one answering, John usually is the one answering the messages on all of our social media. So you can definitely find us both there. And you can find John also he's also doing Cinemas podcast with you, no? Am I
Sometimes, yeah.
confusing that with the movie guy,
is.
actually?
It is Real in Films. He's
Real in
in
Films.
Films. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. So like, actually, what is? Can you go over that list of podcasts? I know he has like
Sure.
subtitles required, but I don't
He
know
has
if like
he has
stop doing
subtitles
it again or
required.
not.
So you can find him in Real in Films. You can find him on YouTube. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. He does have subtitles required. He has a YouTube page, and his YouTube channel, he has interviews that he's done with numerous directors, writers, producers, and actors. So yeah, just go check out his stuff.
Yeah, and last but not least, we also got JP, who you can find here
Yes,
at the
sir.
Cardboard Cave podcast. Again, if John and me are not the one answering messages, JP is definitely like in the back there.
Yeah.
And just generally giving us just like all those little like information bites that all of us forget, and he just seems to have on hand. That's why I love him. All right. Well, have an awesome rest of your night, everybody, and I hope that that you keep buying singles. And
Yes.
and I love you.
Love you too.
Hey, do you like Magic the Gathering? Myself as well loves Magic the Gathering. Well, I have the podcast for you. How about you join us at Cardboard Cave MTG Podcast? We are in all social media and audio platforms that you can enjoy. You can join us as well when we go live every Wednesday at 9. Like that, you can join us, comment below, and we can go ahead and have that conversation together. Plus, after that, we have Commander games and arena content coming your way. So if you love Magic the Gathering as well as we do, just go ahead, look us up as Cardboard Cave Podcasts.